Map another Series 1 was a banger, and so was Series 2. And the winner for Series 2 goes to this series, which is the lower bracket finals. What a long intro. Tashman alongside Quack, and today is gonna be a very long day, but I am here for it.
You're here for it with the head movement and everything.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from.
It's hype. That's what's happening right now. First of all, it's a bit of a grudge match, Tash. Fullsense Sapphire, although they lost to SMG, now they're playing against RRQ. They were the ones who knocked RRQ down into the lower bracket. So it's going to be a little bit poetic if RRQ can actually take the series.
It is very poetic. It's a tale of two teams. They are very, very good friends, but in game they are such intense.
They're bitter rivals. They hate each other.
Why do you gotta ruin it for me, Quack? But anyways, coming into this game, like Quack said, it's going to be a grudge match. It's a match where RRQ Kaguya wants to have their revenge arc for sending them down to the lower bracket. And you know, as you said, poetic. This time, if they win, they send Fullsense Sapphire home. And the winner gets to meet SMG in the grand finals tomorrow in a best of 5. And I'm really excited about that because we've seen both teams play today. So both teams technically will be playing 2 series for today. So let's start with Fullsense first. And what we saw from today from Fullsense was, I would say, sheer, not just firepower from Muffin, but also we start to see Fullsense Sapphire show us what teamwork and friendship means.
That's the craziest thing about these guys. I mean, again, we kind of know the story between these two teams. Not only have they played once in the upper bracket of this event, Open 3, they've also played like so many times last year, back when they were, X10 and Alter Ego Celeste and all that stuff. And there's this huge history between the both of them. But now Margot joining Fullsense Sapphire, she used to be on together with the previous RRQ guys, and that's the craziest thing. So, I mean, you're borrowing a lot, but at the same time, you're trying to find that control still. Margot having to join this roster, trying to fit in along with everyone else. We've seen how Muffin can go crazy at times. But again, at the core of it, it's Ginny as the IGL, Baby TZ anchoring down sites, Polly as the controller, Margot just trying to initiate.
Honestly, when you talk about these teams, right? I mean, we just saw RRQ Kaguya play less than about 30 minutes ago, and I think that it was such a tug of war for them. They went all the way to a map 3 as opposed to Fullsense Sapphire winning a 2-0. And at the same time, you can really tell that their limits were very much tested when they were up against Orangutan X. And we had this conversation just now about these teams' stamina. And given the fact that RRQ just finished a game compared to Fullsense Sapphire, who played earlier today and had longer rest, can RRQ Kaguya manage to overcome this hurdle to make it to the top?
That's the question, right? And I mean, they want to do it. I mean, they've been trying to do it for, quite a while. You look at some of their match histories, and they've lost to Fullsense Sapphire like 3 times in a row now. That's cannot feel good. There's a bit of that mental block. But that said, I think based on what we've seen so far today from the first 2 series, it sets us up perfectly for the lower final, because you already saw FSS against SMG a little bit shaky, Tash, just a little bit. That series went by kind of like shoom, and just it was done.
Yeah.
And then this one with RQ versus OGX, it was big firepower. I think they stand a chance.
I really think they do stand a chance, but let's have a look at Napsky and Margot. Both players, I would say Sentinel/controller, but they're technically doing the same job when you think about it. Napsky has been massive when it comes to those last-minute clutch situations. Not just clutches, but rather, if say Ayumi were to go down, who is there going to be there to trade her? It's going to be Napsky from the backline. Same goes for Margot. And I think for Margot, a lot of her control, we've seen it happen on Bind, and we've seen it happen on Pearl. She sets it up so perfectly for her team that they don't have to worry too much about losing control of the entire area. It buys her team a lot of time for that rotations as well. And I have to say, between these two, while their ACS is very different, but I think in terms of in-game performance as well as usage of their utilities, it's almost on par.
Yeah, and that's the main thing for me. The reason why these two players were picked, because we've been talking about the duelists. You know, we already know how strong a Yumi as well as like friggin' Muffin is. But the other thing is, for these two girls, they're always kind of somewhat overlooked. They're always the backline support players, and that's why it's so important for them to be the ones to kind of step up in this series. If they can frag out just as well and still provide that support and utility for the team, that's what's the thing that's going to carry the team over the finishing line.
Yeah, but looking at this map, you're going to be seeing Pearl for the, I don't know, third time today, alongside Lotus and Fracture. Now, we've seen Pearl and Fracture play, not Lotus quite yet, so I'm very much looking forward to that. We had this conversation about how Fullsense Sapphire is one of those teams that has been pretty much undefeated on Lotus, and I am curious to see how RRQ Kaguya fares. But enough about that. I'll keep our eyes on Pearl right now, because we know that for RRQ Kaguya, they've had a pretty, I would say, solid run on Pearl. They do pretty well on this map, but for Fullsense Sapphire, they are not bad as well.
They're usually not bad. Usually, right?
Usually, but against SMG was a different story.
That's the thing. That's why that's why we're thinking about this. It's a different story, and they really need to kind of relook what just happened. How can they kind of turn things around? When they also last played this map, you know, against RRQ Kaguya in the group stage, they won 13-2. So it's not as if FSS are like not great on this map. It's just a lot of it is mental, and I think that was the main story for FSS versus SMG. They kind of, I don't know, psyched themselves out, and they were holding a lot of like passive positions and passive angles, which I guess if you're playing against SMG, they just run you over.
I mean, we've seen them play against OGX on Pearl. 13-7, I would say it was a pretty good run, and they do pretty well on the attacking side. And you know, and this comes down to the comp that they played, and we saw this exact same comp played earlier today. And I think that in terms of how they play, it's very textbook, it's very direct, straight to the point. But when you compare them to SMG, what they were lacking was just that confidence and that firepower. But RRQ Kaguya, on the flip side, is a team that relies on that firepower. They love playing aggressive. We saw that a lot from Ayumi and Aluka. But for RRQ Kaguya, I think one of their biggest problems is after a while, when their mental starts to shake, it really shows in their gameplay.
So for both teams, they kind of need to borrow a bit of each other's strengths and weaknesses, right?
Exactly.
Fullsense needing the confidence, RQ needing a little bit more control, and that's the main thing. We need to see a tempered Ayumi, someone who's not just trying to make things happen on her own, but rather working together with the team. Meanwhile, for Fullsense Sapphire, just a lot more confidence to play their own game, rather than trying to psych themselves out and whatnot. I mean, we've seen these compositions, no huge changes whatsoever. And I guess that's just what it comes down to, you know? Who can frag out the best? And if you look at Fullsense Sapphire, when they last played against RRQ Kaguya on this map, they were so strong. 13-2 was the win. Margot had 16 kills. She was the second highest fragger, apart from like Iceberg and Muffin. And that's what I'm looking out for. If these players can step up, that's going to be the thing to win it.
I think if anything, for Fullsense Sapphire, we talk about control, and they are also a team that like to capitalize on the enemy team's mistakes. So if say that we start to see the shake happen from RRQ Kaguya, that is when we start to see, I would say, that snowball effect start to happen for Fullsense Sapphire. Because yes, they need to make these, I would say, dominating rounds happen in order to feel hot, and they need to chain these rounds together, and that is what I'm expecting to see from Fullsense Sapphire. But if say RRQ Kaguya maintains the momentum, maintains the aggression, is able to play together, Fullsense Sapphire might not be able to make it. Regardless of the story that we go to, Pearl is on the menu. Gonna toss it over to our casters. This time around is Zach and Dax.
A matchup full of history. You know these names. You know these teams have made it to the finals before in their different iterations, but only one can make it now. RRQ Kaguya and of course Fullsense Sapphire facing off yet again, but this time it's elimination time here, Zach. I'm very excited to be working with you though. Dax and Zach, we're like a pack here.
Yeah, we're the new combination, the new combo on the block really here to set the streets on fire. But you mentioned it, Dax. You talked about the stakes here, and of course history. Unfortunately, it can't be said to be on RRQ Kaguya's side this time around. This entire year, in fact, Fullsense, they've not only been winning, they've been able to win 2-0. So history not in their favor, but they are coming off on a little bit of an advantage today. Fullsense, they're reeling with that loss they took against SMG in that first game of the day, and RRQ, they're coming off a win. So at least that momentum, it's going to be in their favor, especially when you do consider that this first map, it's Pearl, a map where we just saw RRQ walk away with the win, and Fullsense take a devastating loss.
Isn't that the story so far? Today we have seen both of these teams play on Pearl, yes. But you mentioned it, the momentum, negative on the side of Fullsense Sapphire, a little bit more positive for RRQ Kaguya instead. And Sapphire, they need to reel it back, they need to recover if they want to continue on their win streak versus RRQ Kaguya. If you notice also, the previous history, something we mentioned a few days prior actually, almost every single time these two teams faced off, it led to an overtime game. The only time it didn't was the last time they faced off when it was more of Fullsense Sapphire dominance. But I love this map pick from RRQ Kaguya, not only because they won versus Orangutan X, but if you remember last time they faced off against each other in the upper bracket, since RRQ Kaguya was a bit scared of what Fullsense Sapphire did to them in the Switch stage, RRQ Kaguya banned this instead. And now they're back, now they're ready, and seems like there is a lot more positivity here for RRQ Kaguya moving forward.
That's the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Even if you do go down on a map, you pick it again, you try to make it, you try to push it through. And RRQ, hopefully they've definitely done some learning since that Switch stage, because I think that Quack brought it up. It was a 13-2 the last time around in Fullsense's favor. So RRQ, they've gone back to the drawing board. They've been able to showcase that they're very good on this map against so many other teams over the course of this playoffs. But now against their oldest rival. In fact, the core of Sapphire was the one that took down the core of Kaguya to make it to Game Changers Championship last year for anybody who was watching. So this is the most grudge match in the history of APAC grudge matches.
And yeah, you were there, I was there at the audience, Margo was there around also, facing off against maybe perhaps some former teammates on the other side. We begin though now the action yet again. RRQ Kaguya not skipping a beat whatsoever. They're straight onto the action. Of course, back-to-back series gonna be a bit tiring here for Kaguya, but immediately they get to B site already being held by Kaguya. They have Hulk's control as well. Ayumi, the hold close, Trailblazer with a stun. Nice pick from Margo, and here she comes! Two from Margo to begin with. Fullsense Sapphire back in action immediately. It's 3v1. Navsky now found out her life snatched by Margo, and Sapphire takes the pistol.
I'm glad that you brought up Margo here, because again, she's one of those names that's been around ever since, I don't know, 2021. She used to be on Alter Ego, but she took a little bit of a break, and now she's back swinging for the Fullsense Sapphire side. So it's been very interesting to see her kind of evolve as this player over the course of the last couple of years. In particular, this Harbor Viper pick, we talk about it a lot when it comes to Pearl, but Fullsense Sapphire, they're the team that has been sticking with it ever since the beginning, and it's really, really working out for them. I also think that for Sapphire, they're a bit more calm than they usually are. Usually you see them getting extremely aggressive like they are now.
Yeah, I guess they're taking a few lessons when they face off against Team SMG. A bit more reserved, knowing exactly how Kaguya plays. And on the anti-eco, it's clean from Pauly. This defense is still held together by Margo and Pauly. They've been running double wall for this open for this reason. They have so many modules of control, and now with such a reserved hand, they already wipe out RRQ. So 2-0, Sapphire sets the tempo early.
They're really, really good at cycling these smokes. You brought up the double, we talked about the double controllers, but they just use the kit to full utility. Like, just Pauly, even in these anti-eco rounds, being able to set up that one way and play off of it, and just the positioning out of Fullsense, right? They have the read on RRQ in most of these rounds, and that's where both of these teams mainly seem to differ. RRQ, they certainly have the firepower to match up against Sapphire, but Sapphire, their positioning on Pearl in particular is just so clean compared to how RRQ likes to play. They're just waiting, almost like they read RRQ step by step every single way, inch of the way.
They probably put in the study especially. And truthfully for me, as Kaguya now have the rifles, this is a must-win for RRQ Kaguya. You look at the next two maps, those were the two maps in the upper bracket that Fullsense Sapphire took RRQ Kaguya down. Speaking of who's going down, Ayumi and Best have already been felled. A strong start to the bonus here for Fullsense Sapphire. Baby Teasy, 5 HP. for the chance now with the Vandal in hand. Crossfire being set alongside Polly. Both of these two targets so low on the HP. Perhaps if Ginny can get in there, go for a big regrowth, it can help out Sapphire in this pinch. But for now, Kaguya has to disengage, and it's a perfect time to reset here for Fullsense.
Yeah, Baby TC not going to be able to get the heal, but still 4 out of 5 players looking very healthy is a nice way to start this round, especially with when you pull out the heavy hitters like Ayumi and one of the controllers best going down here. In fact, the only controller for the side of RRQ, my pardon. Now Napski on the opposite side of the map, going for a bit of a lurk, exploring it, but Fullsense, they're happy to just stick together, and now that they've confirmed this numbers advantage, they don't want to really let it go.
And we've seen from them, they're stellar left on the retake. As of now, though, anticipating a rotation perhaps into CT. Lurk from Navsky, trying at least to find an opening, but it's not just one, but two awaiting her if she dares cross through the waters. A site free now for the take. On the Kaguya side, the guiding light is for confirmation as well, and nice splash, even left, making it past the flower archway. This is intel now. RRQ, known to be on that A site. Fullsense here, regrouping, but they have to be very, very careful. Navsky in position. This might be great timing here for Kaguya, but the rest of Fullsense already in pursuit of the site. Iceberg gets one, Ginny with the trade. Navsky getting in position for the flag buffing on the board. Here comes the rifle, letting it rip. Now they know Navsky's behind them, but Polly in cover. Goes for the half defuse. Well, actually a stick it anyway. Guarded by Muffin. And the third round won by Sapphire.
Bonus going extremely well for them. Not only did they win the round, they managed to pick up 2 rifles for absolutely free. Also charging up those ultimates. But of course, this start, right? You see that aggression that RRQ showed against Orangutan, but it's just that, again, Sapphire, they're just so ready for it. They have that crossfire set up, the Molly as well for additional stopping power, and combined with that debuff provided by that Viper Wall of Polly, it's just too much for RRQ to really bite off here, and now we're going to see a timeout coming out from them. They were able to at least get that spike down, so might have enough money to force together another purchase, but with the way Sapphire are setting up this defense, there's just no easy way for them to really push a lane. So far, it's been very quick hits. Maybe it's a little bit of conditioning that they're trying to put in, but overall, Sapphire, they have their opponents numbered. They're just so aware.
I think that's the key word, right? Awareness. And finally, since we're on broadcast together, Zach, I can actually say this while we're casting together. Guys, if you don't know Zach by this point yet,
oh, no,
she is basically the encyclopedia of game changers, APAC as well as EMEA. 2 regions, not just one. And that allows me to ask you this question. Why do you think Fullsense Sapphire has such a strong read on RRQ Kaguya? Because ever since Elite last year, right, it's just been Sapphire all the way beating out this core that you see on the other side.
I mean, they've had 2 years to do their research for sure, but I think it mainly comes down to the mentality. Of course, last year with Ginny and squad being able to find that victory over Alter Ego, they're just so much more confident. And the second factor would be, of course, RRQ losing one of their most valuable players, if not their most valuable one. Inari was always that X factor for that Alter Ego squad, and without her being a factor anymore, this new iteration is just, it doesn't seem to be as firepower heavy, and they're kind of paying for it because compared to Alter Ego, I gotta say that Sapphire always had a deeper playbook, and now they're able to fully tap into it.
Yeah, and RRQ Kaguya is the one who had to really modify their playstyle, right? Here we go, though. Ginny gets one, but Ayumi sees them lined up. 2 on the board for Ayumi. If she gets heated up, that's a threat that Fullsense Sapphire will need to deal with. Muffin respects this immediately. Backs away. Nabsky, though, timing perfect. And Kaguya now giving themselves a chance to play towards A.
Now the aggression coming out of Fullsense, it's going to be punished here. Advantage gained by RRQ. Spike going down as well, and it's going to be a 2v4 attempt on this retake. No lockdown available either, and a beautiful cloud burst to let Aluka get back to safety.
Please some cover, as main will be held by Arca. RRQ on the post plant. You also have Nabsky nearby still. He's been strong on opportunity. Iceberg with the flank, so many angles being taken here by Sapphire. They need to clear one out as quickly as possible, and Baby TZ does so with impunity. 2 for Baby TZ, always valuable in these scenarios. 1v1 now, the turret to go for confirmation, but Iceberg slips by. This is gonna be perfect here for Iceberg. Baby TZ, an inkling of intel, yes, but not enough to work with. RRQ get on the board.
A second win.
Very nice round coming out of them. Ayumi, of course, being able to find those two openers, but their post-plant positioning, it was really good. They were able to play like this double crossfire. Of course, the timings that our Sapphire were able to find enabled them to find a lot of these kills. For a 2v4, that still got way too close for comfort. But Iceberg, like you mentioned, always very dependable in these kind of 1v1 situations, and she's able to clutch it out. RRQ Kaguya now close to a multiple snowball of ults because they have 4 that are almost ready to go to counter those available for Sapphire already.
Yeah, they have a bunch of utility to work with too, but you make a good point there, Zap. Iceberg and I'd say Navsky also, core members of RRQ Kaguya, they're not the most, I'd say, annihilation-heavy kind of players. Instead, they're more opportunistic, and you see it from how their playstyle has evolved, be a bit more tactical. We heard it a bit also from the interview with Ducky a while ago, but here we have it. Margot now holding down the line. First, second, and third! Well, that's just pretty much a home run from her by this point. They line up yet again, and those are the unfortunate moments for RRQ Kaguya. They swing, and they get connected on by the opposition instead.
That's the kind of gameplay that really makes me mauled in particular, because you have Aluka for the flashes, you have Iceberg for the drone, but you just take these kind of dry contact angles, and when a player like Margot has an angle like that, you're going to be sure that she's going to be heading in for the punish. 2v5 situation. This doesn't look very good.
No, I think exactly that's the thing. You were talking about how Alter Ego Celeste was back then, and maybe some of those tendencies still do rear its ugly head from time to time. We know how incredible Aluka and enemy can be in those kind of contact positions. But Sapphire, they're ready for this. And as per usual, they set things up and knock things down. Flawless immediately, the answer from Sapphire.
Every single one of RRQ's players died in the same spot, so we should just put like a big X on that site. So don't come here.
Don't go here.
Do not enter. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200.
If you have the heat map on the map, this is a no-no zone encircled.
The hotspot.
Maybe it'll give us a bit of reception too. But as of right now, Fullsense Sapphire looking like the Fullsense Sapphire that we know and love. They're just so prime and ready for doubling down on certain angles. You have some strong anchors, and compared to when they were facing off against Team SMG a while ago, they're doing a good job keeping Baby TZ as well as Muffin alive to play a little bit later on into the round. Blade still available for Ayumi. An eco here for RRQ, a hero bulldog for Aluka, and 5 ultimates to work with. Can they unleash the fury though towards his site? Sapphire's already so prepared for this. 3 of them waiting for the opportunity. The dart though into play. The execute now coming the way of Fullsense Sapphire. Jinny gets one, but Baby TZ from utility and the gunplay. It's enough to wipe them out. 5-1 now, and immediately RRQ's gone.
You said they had all those ultimates, and immediately there's nobody left alive. Baby TZ, I think that was one with the molly, one with the gun, and one with the turret, really showing why she is one of the best killjoys in APAC. Already 8-3, and it's been like only 6 rounds, and they barely come to her site half the time. So very, very impressive results coming out of Baby TZ here. Operator's still gonna be in the hands of Muffin, who hasn't had much of an opportunity to really use it, because by the time she gets in position, everybody else is kind of already dead. So a bit rough.
Well, it's not her site being hit right now. And Sapphire, we've seen this play from them before. The defensive protocol always puts Baby TZ in pretty much a power position between Secret and Dugout, right? And from that point on, that's the lane she holds. RRQ tries to pressure it. They get punished accordingly. This time around, though, dangerous for Kaguya. If they don't realize the op is in hand, Muffin waiting. I think she let it ring, has to dash on out because there's pressure. So RRQ at least, they get a bit closer than expected. And the Cosmic Divide's there too.
Just come through, and it's gonna be Muffin position revealed. Fullsense forced off of the side, but the lockdown is going to be put down early by RRQ to confirm the spike plants. It's going to be an open plants as well, so that counter lockdown available from Fullsense, it's not going to be as much of a threat coming in. However, there's a lot of ultimates available for this particular retake. Navsky in particular going to be caught in that backside, so that's a free kill that RRQ can possibly lose here.
Well, they need Navsky there to begin with, just to pull the attention and not let Muffin get in a good position with the operator. Here we go, though. That's a fragment, but Muffin and Jinny so quick already. 2 for Muffin along the board. 3 down at the side of Kaguya. They have the dart to work with. They also have a few stars, sure, but Polly on top of things. And yet again, it's all Fullsense Sapphire. They're already going for the defuse. They went for the Reckoning as well. And in the end, the floodgates do burst, and Fullsense Sapphire are just absolutely swimming in it.
Yeah, they were so methodical about that retake, right? It's like they're segmenting that site into portions. Backside, clear. Onside, clear. And then you can see how Muffin really wields that operator, just clearing out angle by angle. Her getting 2 kills there with the operator in the kind of post plan that RRQ were trying to set up is just absolutely illegal. And despite Kaguya planning for that lockdown, they just weren't ready for that concentrated pressure that Sapphire were able to really bring in on that retake. Really, really good work by them. And once again, they're going to be kind of at that back foot.
Yeah, and the 6-1 standing we've seen from RRQ Kaguya in their face-off against Orangutan X. Usually they're the ones with the lead, but here we go yet again. Ginny is the one stepping on the first. Make that a second yet again! Again and again. It's just repetitive by this point. Fullsense Sapphire, they hold these power positions as aggressive as can be, and they come out ahead from it. It's 3 versus 1 immediately in what, 20 seconds as soon as the round started. RRQ booted out, and it becomes a 7-1 standing.
It feels like I've seen this exact game before, except that it went the same way. So it can't be the same game. No way. But bad jokes apart, I think that for RRQ's side, if you compare how these two teams are playing, right? RRQ, they're just doing it, exactly what we were talking about, what Alter Ego Celeste used to do. They used to just send in an Airy to find those frags, and everybody else would just take contact after that and walk away with the kills. But right now, RRQ, they just can't deal with the onslaught of utility that Sapphire is putting in their way. Every single fight that these Sapphire players are taking, it's backed up by util, and they just capitalize on that advantage.
And it's no knock on Ayumi and Aloka's pedigree, right? Instead, I guess the biggest problem is Sapphire have solved this solution or this equation before. Last year in Elite, when Inari was there, when it was Alter Ego Celeste. So if it's gonna be the same kind of playbook Kaguya's trying to run right now, same kind of tendencies, Sapphire will have the answer naturally. Yeah, Paulie here playing towards Link. Baby T taps as well. The double swing is immediately cut into ribbons. And Nano's Farm preventing the pinch also. Yet again, Sapphire manipulate the battlefield even more so now with the Viper Spit. Baby Teasy though! That's brutal! 4 for her, and well, she's singing RRQ Kaguya a lullaby now.
Yeah, I don't think they're very happy to be put to sleep like that, but at least Baby TZ is. That was a very, very clean 4K. Exactly what you come to expect out of Baby TZ. And back to what we were talking about, just the utility usage coming out of this Fullsense squad. Every single fight they take is just so advantageous for them. Like, if you look at how Baby TZ spins up on that A side, for example, when she's setting up that Killjoy, or even on B, she just plays a completely different angle, a crossfire with her own utility and that turret. And while her enemies are kind of focused on taking those pieces of utility down, she's just able to jump out of the shadows like a snake and take everybody else out of the equation.
I completely agree with you. She's one of the players I've seen just swing off her turret, her nano swarms, her alarm bots, and luckily for Iceberg though, she's able to clear it out with a shock dart. Ayumi in, and Paulie again kicks her out. Baby TZ, what's new? Baby TZ already went to flashed on up, getting closer and closer to cover. A little awkward. Aloka, same kind of case, couldn't find that contact. The Cascade now into play, but yet again, the numbers of RRQ Kaguya have already dwindled. Does Baby TZ dare peek it by climbing now over this wall? Iceberg trying to find opportunity. Aloka same case, but the Toxic Rain being a bother. Baby TZ though, moment made yet again. Back-to-back rounds perhaps. Smart was there to finish it off. But come on, Zach, it's just Baby TZ brilliance by this point.
Baby TC brilliance, and also just the utility out of Paulie. This is like the 4th or 5th time I've seen RRQ try to walk through one of her mollies in her wall, and they just get debuffed so bad. All it takes is like one bullet from whoever's shooting at them to take them down. I love how Fullsense are really putting every single bit of their kit to full use here. In fact, you know, you see Ginny and Muffin not really up there on the scoreboard. That's just because Baby TC is killing everybody else, man. What do you do when Baby TC just gets a 3K or 4K every round?
You sit pretty and say, good job, Baby TZ. Incredible. And especially for Muffin. She has died one time this whole game. Probably the one round that RRQ has taken so far. It's so textbook from Fullsense Sapphire. You said it a while ago, a few rounds before. This game looks so familiar because this is exactly the positions Fullsense Sapphire plays again and again. They're happy to play a bit more so onto the A site. with maybe CZ, played a long-range game, courtesy of Muffin. Case in point, yet again, example upon example, but RRQ give themselves a chance. A good push through link might be at least the way for them to get behind enemy lines. Snapsky also looking for the 5, but oh no, she's not ready for this one. Muffin already prepared by the club. No song, no dance here for RRQ. It's only struggles instead. Iceberg, though, still fighting back at the very least. Hearts on their sleeves here for RRQ Kaguya. But that heartbeat is slowly but surely just dwindling here. Alaka, though, towards the corner. 3v2 for now, keeping them contained. Struggle for Fullsense to get them close. Alaka! That's exactly what they need. Null command now to play. Operator versus 2 gonna be a bit difficult. So Muffin picks up a rifle. Iceberg on one side, Alaka on the other. Does she dare go for the clear? Taps it down now. Go at least for the first contact. Alaka found! But it's Iceberg with the trade. There you go, RRQ. That's exactly what you needed to get back in it.
Last round
the
before the
2v3 it really works out, especially Alaka with this timing on the swing there to find those 2 kills. But please don't hate me for saying this. This was just a little bit of a throw coming out of Fullsense because they had that lockdown. They had the positioning to use it, and they were aware of where these remaining players were. So they could have just literally pushed them off the angle with the lockdown. There was no counter available for it. Alaka didn't get the null command until she got those final couple of kills. So a little bit of a misplay, but all things considered, RRQ, they were ready to capitalize on it. Alaka in particular being able to find both of those kills on that swing kind of set RRQ up for success there. But apart from that, it was pretty textbook coming out of them as well. Those last couple of seconds playing that 1v2 and the trade game out of Iceberg, very, very nice. Now Sapphire, they're going to be calling a timeout. They're probably not very happy about losing that round despite their huge lead already.
It's because he scolded them. Zach, I can't believe
it's
you've done
true,
this.
okay? It's true. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. I love Baby TZ. She's probably one of the best killjoys in APAC, but why did you use your lockdown, Baby TZ?
Well, it happens. And RRQ Kaguya, they put themselves in a good spot. We were talking about how can they even cross right? Where can they find that opening? And they found it through mid. Unfortunately for them, though, the first half is already near its end. They have one more round to try and fight back. Maybe they can go for their own 9-3 curse if ever. But still, if Alaka can get online, perhaps the rest of RRQ can do the same. Iceberg also, some strong openings, some strong picks along the way. There are at least a few pillars that RRQ Kaguya can work with now.
I mean, so far at least, both Ayumi and Alaka are having kind of a quiet game, going by their own standards, of course. So, like you mentioned, if they can get a little bit activated, they might be able to really jump into this with full momentum. Now, RRQ, this round, they're taking it a little bit more slowly. A lot of these past rounds, we've seen that quick approach, it hasn't been working out for them. So, they're just trying to take their time over it. Ayumi Muffin giving away her position as well with that operator. So, at least now they know where this particular gun is placed.
I like that flash, actually. So, it bounces onto the wall, put some pressure onto the long angle, and now that they know the op is still online here towards his B site, they decide to try and weigh themselves towards A instead. But there's another operator, Zach. We've seen this from Fullsense Sapphire. If they have the money and it's near the end of the first half, they will gamble on running not just one but 2 of them. They trust Baby DC to do so, and exactly that. Ayumi already eradicated to begin with. 0 point there. Get the suppressed best, hurting because of the nano swarms. Chini now towards the corner playing dugout. Nabsy with the plant, sure. But now we get the lockdown that you mentioned. RRQ to get the hell out of there. Timing perfect though from Iceberg. Catches out Margot. At the very least, the lurk getting value. Alaka also on the board. The lockdown now coming on. Chini wants to push. Turret can be the first contact, but she can't break the detain in time. So RRQ fighting back. Exactly what they need to do in this scenario. Muffin needs to go nuclear if they want to win this. Moving forward now towards main yet again. Nabsy's waiting though, and she'll nab that kill. Holly now the only one left. They line up for her. 2 down, but it's still 2 standing for RRQ. 9-3. It's happening here.
Switching
9-3.
sides.
Just this number, it keeps coming up today, but for now it's Fullsense still having a commendable lead on this particular map so far. However, this is the magic number, right? This is where we see comebacks happen in the past. But, you know, to know if RRQ can come back on this defensive side, it's not you and me to do some breakdowns here, Dax. We have 2 other very talented panelists who will be tuning in shortly.
There is a reason why we saw no one go into Baby TZ's site earlier today, and this is exactly that. Baby TZ, one of the best anchors I've seen so far here, and she does her job miraculously. In fact, a Killjoy with a knock, no problem, she'll bring it.
Yeah, she kind of pulled it out. But in that last round, right, RRQ started to come back, and they do it with, you know, their usual style. It's sort of like brute force. You always have a Yuumi charging in. As soon as they get the spike down, their post plants are great. And that's why the whole game plan for Fullsense was to make sure that they don't set foot on site. And that's why the ops were pulled out. You saw how Baby TZ had 2 separate rounds on which she got so many kills. One because of her utility, another one because she just straight up anchored down and sprayed down everyone else. It's such a strong game of control that they got this 9-3, but how do you carry that over the edge? Now we're swapping sides, right? And RRQ, I think they've got a pretty good defense as well. I mean, especially when you have Bess as an Estra, that's additional, you know, control.
Yeah, control also great post plan as well if she manages to put the star down for the gravity well. On top of that, the smokes as well to deny any access to the site. I think that for, if anything, I'm more concerned about Fullsense Sapphire because I think on Pearl, they've been really doing well on the defense. I'm just questioning how exactly are they going to be playing the attack. Regardless, that my answer is about to be answered as we go back into the second half of the first map. Zach and Dax, let's go.
From Tash Bunny to Tash Asks. I like that. It's honestly a good question and a good point Tash made there, because from what we've seen all throughout this week, Fullsense Sapphire, they have seen some struggles on the attacking side. It's because they build a big buffer like we see right now on the defense that gets them over the finish line. If RRQ Kaguya can take advantage of that, play some better utility, especially with the Astra and the Intel Inso, there's still a chance, and especially if they get this pistol, Zach.
Of course, it always starts with the pistol round, especially on this 9-3 scoreline, unless, of course, you're Fnatic who can do it from 11-3 instead. But that's just me digressing. We do have this 93 half that we talked about, and RRQ Kaguya, they're going to have to really put up some numbers. It seems like they're kind of expecting that push towards that ace side to be the case here. And on B, they've taken up some very early control if you look at their positioning. For the side of Fullsense, though, they're just playing it by ear. They don't want to really rush things.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a bit careful. Okay, Miss EMEA, go with your EMEA references. I know you love that
reference
region.
Everything,
of
Dax.
course.
I reference everything.
Well, don't worry. One day you will be Miss Worldwide soon. NA pick her up also. But no checklist here. Instead, we get the contact towards a Fullsense now. A high tide, a bit shallow. They don't want to go for that backside control. Instead, they'll leave it here to RRQ. And Alaka looking to take advantage. But Jenny's so quick on trigger finger again. 2 for her. It's a 3v2 suddenly as Fullsense get the plant down. Are they aware though? That's the main flank. The alarm bot already alerting them of the situation. Darts there though. And Paulie and Baby TZ getting ready for the contact. Here comes Paulie yet again. She gets the kill. Ayumi, the only one still standing. The turret, the bother. The position's even better here for Fullsense. They're so quick on resetting. Isolated duel though versus Ginny. But Paulie gets 3 and the pistol is taken by Sapphire.
3 for Paulie, 2 for Ginny, and a round that RRQ really needed to win, not going in their favor. You know, they made the choice to fight for the side here, but just the fact that Fullsense, they were more than aware of that possibility. They were ready to fight for the site. It just shows that, again, that awareness that we were talking about over the course of the round. Now, Fullsense, they got the plant. They're going to have the money to buy it fully, and they invest all the way here. In fact, there's going to be a Vandal online already for Paulie after that 3k, which is completely understandable. Baby TZ, of course, going for her usual strategy of just keep the pistol that she already had. And, again, Fullsense, they just look completely in control.
Yeah, and this is awareness of tendencies, right? One thing Fullsense Sapphire is aware that RRQ sometimes they go for those light armor situations down the line, and they want to build a bank to contest in successive rounds. On the other hand, RRQ expecting a rifle, and they're playing a bit aggressive with Bess on the lurk. If maybe they can pick that up from Paulie or someone else. Paulie and Ginny though. This round just tells me that these guys have so much history. Awareness right now of what can happen. And they overrun Bess with those numbers. 4 now, barreling down towards mid into Art. The Trailblazer to lead the charge. Gives an intel that everything's clear so far, moving into Link. Iceberg though, waiting towards Connector. Now we get the high tide. setting on up to allow them to try an entry towards the backside. Muffin here leading the charge yet again. Margot already planting, trying to force that contact. Ayumi gets one for her troubles. Iceberg's here too, but Fullsense Sapphire omnidirectional and keeping an eye out. Aluka, 25 HP, difficult here. Unless she hits some stellar shots. Might be worse because there's the turret. It spots her already. No, not the turret. Anything but the turret. It's gone. Fullsense Sapphire just waiting for Aluka to peek out by this point. But honestly, Zach, this is a round commanded by Sapphire and case in point.
Exactly. They're nowhere, Aluka, as the turret already pointed her out. It might have gone down, but it did a job just like
She's
a good
there, she's
boy.
there,
Keeping
she's
the turret, you have our autograph. Yeah, she's there. So go get her. I'm softening her up for you, maybe. But like you mentioned, our Kaguya, they just seem to have no control on this defensive side as well. You know, you talked about how Fullsense Sapphire, they've been in control this entire time, and this particular round, it will tell the story of whether that's going to be the case for the rest of the game as well. Because if Sapphire win this, they will shut down RRQ's fledgling economy and get to match point themselves. So RRQ, this is their last chance to get back into this game and have a chance at keeping their map to themselves.
Yeah, big make or break moment. And we said it a while ago, it's going to even be more difficult from here for RRQ. Because you look at Lotus, and if ever Fracture, the two maps that Fullsense Sapphire beat them on recently. Ayumi, she needs to step on up. We know how explosive she can be. We literally witnessed this just a series ago versus Orangutan X. Polly, fighting a bit of contact, distraction here to pull those forces towards B side, or rather B long. And now his ramp is taken by Ayumi. Fullsense Sapphire on the other side of the map, regrouping by Amin.
He still has a couple of players hanging around, so Iceberg feels a shiver down her spine. Gonna be putting that drone to good use to try and clear out these areas of the map, but the range on the drone isn't gonna really be able to spot anything here.
Yeah.
Napsky puts the alarm bot and walks away, but with those seekers coming into play from Ginny, that's when the execute starts.
Yeah, she has to double back, and exactly right. Because of it, there's that hesitation, a bit of false intel there for RRQ Kaguya, and Sapphire takes advantage. A strong dart though. Gets a scan onto Margot. She's already sat down. Does she get hit by the wallbang? No, instead it's Iceberg the victim. Muffin finds her target, but Navsky and Ayumi at least with the contact that they need. 4v3. Here comes Ayumi also. Looks like RRQ Kaguya taking more and more opportunities so far. Baby TZ on the inside of the smoke does best. Know that she's there, aware. Now she with the defuse. The flash is into play, but Baby TZ, is this the opportunity? Sprays down one, but that's all she gets. RRQ Kaguya, they need to fight back. Muffin with a few exit wounds there at the end. But 11-4, Kaguya is still standing here.
It was so expensive for them though. Sure, they win the round and they had 3 playing players remaining, but Muffin, she has the last laugh here because she's able to find all of these final kills. Really good round coming out of RRQ though. They were able to kind of keep their eyes out. They didn't let Baby TZ do too much damage and they still walk away with the win. So like you mentioned, they still are in running here. That was Fullsense's bonus round if you think about it. So they're still going to have a very comfortable bye for this next round. And they're only a couple off that reckoning. So that could create even more pressure once that spike goes down for RRQ side.
Maybe that pressure can lead to more individual duels. I think we saw from that last round, especially when RRQ Kaguya can get the isolation plays, they stand a better chance compared to when Fullsense Sapphire is grouped up as a unit. Blades are ready here from Muffin. I think the orb's taken, so Margot can't actually get the reckoning as of yet. Fullsense, they need at least a semblance of control before they can move towards the site. A 2-1-2 split by the defense instead, just to get some initial intel moving forward.
Yeah, Best, kind of the only player hanging around that B site, has to hold on to it by herself. Will put down a smoke to create some additional pressure. Iceberg as well, we talked about this drone before. Gotta spot out that turret, so she knows that the Killjoy is likely hanging around here. Fullsense themselves, though, they're interested in this A side. They're gonna be pushing through Art instead, and while there's a molly to at least buy a little bit of time, it's not gonna do too much here.
Go for the clear. Nabsky, though, finding perhaps another opportunity. Past the high side, it's already Fullsense. Sapphire crossing on through. Muffin swinging wildly. There you have the Nanoswarm's also burning Margot down, and the Iceberg will hit her marker. Baby TZ with the trade, but here comes RRQ Kaguya yet again from the wetwork. Snapski will come from, and suddenly RRQ Kaguya just shows up to take them down.
That's the round that they've really needed. The pinch through from multiple sides here. Finally, RRQ Kaguya taking a little bit more control of the map, but also just the stalling power. It's slowly but surely coming up. They're able to play a little bit more off of their utility, and that's the biggest difference maker in the last couple of rounds. Now, Sapphire, they're going to be burning through that second timeout here because we talked about this before. Both of these teams, they are really good at taking the momentum and running with it. Like, just that last half, right? We saw, like, Fullsense get, what was it, 8 rounds in a row?
Yeah.
Or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like again and again and again. I think it was even... Yeah, I think there was a round where RRQ won along the way. But in the end, I think the point right now, Zach, is the Fullsense Sapphire can't actually push through the way that they would like. We notice here from RRQ Kaguya that they're so active with the timings, that they love to play many of these off angles. Our panel mentioned it during the halftime as well. On the defense, Kaguya can create their own opportunities along the way. And things are looking good right now. You see how Navsky's taking advantage. You see how Best is able to go for some good stalls along the way. Aluka looking more and more online as well. These moments are being made by RRQ Kaguya.
And they are definitely working out for Kaguya as well in the last couple of rounds. You talked about Navsky and how good she's been at anchoring that site as well. I think the one area of pressure that Fullsense have not really exerted has been on this B site so far. And that's because Best has been doing a good job of just anchoring it with their own utility. Now, perhaps expecting that push on B, they put a couple of players towards that side of the map, but instead it's going to be A site once again at that point of contention.
Oh.
No real...
Look at that.
That's a 0 points.
That's
a 0 points.
That's a 5 point right there. That's value. Immediate intel, and of course, because of it, RRQ Kaguya, they're gonna rotate accordingly. Best is still sticking around B side. She's happy to just manipulate the battlefield from across the map. But it's reinforcement instead from Iceberg. Trailblazer there too, and well done and well sprayed by Ayumi and Navsky. Then Nanoswarm's burning Polly down. Ayumi doing critical damage.
Down A.
And as of right now, we're seeing RRQ Kaguya just put a stop to the Fullsense momentum. They say no to A. You cannot cross here.
Thou shall not pass indeed, and now it's just Baby TZ and Ginny left alone, a Stinger and Sheriff in hand. Baby TZ gonna be caught by, both of these players are gonna be caught by that 0 points as well once again, so RRQ note that these players are still hanging around here, and they have to come back, because that's the spike. It's gonna be dropped right on site, and they have to break this brutal crossfire somehow to even have a chance in this round.
Well, it's an eco setup anyway, so might as well try to go through these kills. But immediately as Ginny gets one, RRQ will swing off that contact and get their 6th round on the board. Defense looking better here for RRQ Kaguya. And I think right now the story so far is Kaguya, they know that Sapphire has had their number all throughout the year. And this is their best chance to make it to where they belong truly, Zach. To make it to a finals of the Open, to compete versus Team SMG. They just need to beat one of their biggest rivals, one of their biggest pains, honestly, so far from what we've seen in this open circuit.
For sure. This year, RRQ have not beaten Sapphire yet, but
Yep.
maybe this time around it might be the difference maker. They just gotta win another 7 rounds to take this map home. Now, our Fullsense, we talked about this in the previous round, they haven't been really looking at this B site yet, kind of working around that mid-A area instead, doing a little bit of conditioning, hoping that this defense would be a little less useful, but already, Iceberg with that shotgun, she takes out half of Muffin's armor.
Yeah, Muffin.
Huge bit of damage.
It's gonna be difficult, right? Because a simple spray, and there you go! I asked, and Iceberg will provide a pick already to begin with. And suddenly, Fullsense Sapphire, their offense stalled here, Zach. They have at least the Reckoning and the lockdown to utilize if ever. Hesitation now. The snake bite's there, but so passive here from Sapphire. Slow walk instead to try and find the opportunity beyond the smoke. Iceberg with a spray yet again. It's RRQ. Just so prepped for this time around. It's looking so much better here on the defense, and the smoke's gone. Ginny. If it swung, it's gonna be trouble. The Toxic screen is there though. Fragment into play. Dark gonna be in position as well. And Ginny now over onto the corner. And the ball does tumble on down. Ayumi will take advantage. And here we go yet again. It's a different site, but it's the same kind of setup. RRQ are finding convenience in this defense.
Yeah, definitely way better than their 13-2 performance the last time, but on this defensive side, they have truly woken up, and I really like from them how quick they are to rotate here, because they know that Fullsense, they haven't been really doing those fake kind of plays so far. If they commit towards the site, they're just heading there. They haven't been rotating too much. And Kaguya, they're willing to take the gamble, play that other side for retake, especially since Snapsky has her lockdown to go. So these really quick rotations, Fullsense, they cut noise and try to go back to the same spot. But RRQ, they're not taking the bait. They're more than happy to fight it out. And even worse, Ayumi, she's going to have that operator online. And we saw what a menace she was against Orangutan just that previous game.
Absolutely agree with you. It's dangerous as soon as this poison cloud falls. Ayumi, does she find the sight line to begin with? Potential targets, many of them actually. 4 looking to barrel on down. Swooped in, sees one, and Pauly's gone. The cloud there into play yet again. The dash now, the try and contest. Muffin looking for the push, but the retreat is successful here for RRQ. Iceberg also providing cover with the Hunter's Fury. Alert now from Muffin, a Bulldog in hand. But the buy isn't the best here for Fullsense. Also by our Ginny now, she's in trouble. Nabsky, she was just using the turn as bait. Hook, line, and sinker now. 2 gone for the side of Fullsense.
Oh, I'm muted. Yes, sorry about that. Like I was saying, they do have a couple of ultimates to work with, but I don't know if we're going to be seeing any of those really coming into play because this is an eco round. And RRQ, they should be able to confirm that 8th round. Now the rotation finally kicking in for the Fullsense side. They look to make a play here, but there's still 3 players waiting from RRQ towards the back side.
Well, they want to play close, that's for sure. And here comes the spray down from Best to get the takedown. Well done to find Baby TZ, even more so onto Muffin and Alaka. She's been walking on that tightrope for quite a while, Zach. She's been looking at that position. Finally, she takes advantage of it. And a flawless hold. RRQ is showing signs of life here.
Indeed. Now, though, this is a chance for Fullsense to jump back into it. They have all of those ults they can snowball off of. The economy back in favor as well. In particular, I'm really looking forward to what Pauly can do with that Viper's Clip, because if you can get that ult down and position yourself properly, it's almost a guaranteed win, especially in the lack of any raise on the side of Kaguya. There's just no real area of effective attack available for them to retake that particular site. They have a couple of ults of their own though, and we're gonna see this game of lockdown chicken once again, I think, Dax.
Yeah, well, they need to make it there in the first place, that's for sure. And we've seen from RRQ, they stem that tide, especially courtesy of the utility of Alaka. She's been stellar so far, especially here on the defense. And the null command throwing such a big wrench to those plans. Difficult now without the utility. We're gonna dry peek this, and Ayumi will punish accordingly. Adding flash play, and Ayumi turns around to get the takedown. 2 already as Alaka's on the floor. Baby TZ though with the find, and Fullsense Sapphire. They were brave to try and cross, but they'll get the confirmation. The pit he sent, so it's gonna be online. A win condition here for Fullsense Sapphire. Lockdown also into play. They finally take down Alaka, and the plant will go down.
Now it's going to be a 2v3 retake attempt here. They do have that lockdown of their own onto Napsky. We might see that coming in, but the Cosmic Divide to boot, but Ginny just aware, peeks out, finds a kill.
She was just prepared, so fast and so efficient. What else can Best do in this scenario? They don't have the utility to try and find the Viper anymore. Pauly is low, but Ginny again looks up on the high heavens and just scoffs at it. 12-8. It's match point now for Fullsense.
Captain, IGL, Fragger, I don't know, whatever other role Ginny fills here, but she is just the backbone of this team, and you can see exactly why. Nasty fadeaway shot on that last kill, but finally, after 5 rounds in a row, Sapphire, they'll be able to find one of their own. Sure, they had to invest a couple of ults to get there, but remember, Ginny, she used her Seekers last round, if I think, and she already has them more than halfway back. Excuse me?
Yeah, she got so many of those kills at the end. And Fullsense Sapphire, maybe now Margot will set up the last bit of success that they need. RRQ, they cannot make any mistakes from this point on. And Ayumi, that's pristine with the pick. Muffin's gone, and without her, it's difficult for Sapphire to get the speed they want to get the execute.
Yeah, no real way to create space on that site here. Kind of forced to re-clear all this territory from scratch as well, because there's just the potential that somebody from RRQ could have walked up. A guiding light has to be used for that particular position. Now, Fullsense, they realize that without Muffin, it's going to be incredibly difficult to get onto site. They want to try and take these long-range fights instead. And Iceberg, with the drone, already able to spot out the alert from Baby TZ. So that's one player that they know exactly where exactly the person is.
Yeah, they're keeping tabs on her as much as possible. Bess also looking for the angle. The push is there, the pre-fire. Awareness, yes. But that's just absolute marksmanship for Bess instead to give the advantage more so to RRQ. Lockdown, waiting, premeditated, just to anticipate the full sense push. Now see play protector and easy pickings as they line up on such a narrow corridor. The snake bite's there, but look who pushes. It's Bess. 9 to 12. RRQ is still in it.
Polly had a really rough time there. She had to break the lockdown, but she also had to kind of play her life, and Bess just pushes out to see her detained and get that final kill. Very nice lockdown coming out of Napsky, though. In that 3v5 situation with her being the only person on site, her being able to use that lockdown as bait and just find these last couple of kills, very, very nice coming out of them. Now, one round that Fullsense needs to be able to push this map in their pocket, but RRQ, they have the momentum. They've only lost one round after that pistol and anti-eco didn't go in their favor, and they're very close to being able to bring this to overtime. They need 3 in a row here. Fullsense's economy, it's kind of on the back burner, so that's one round that they might be able to take in. But like you mentioned, Dax, they're going to have to play a flawless game here.
Hey, overtime in my RRQ Kaguya versus Fullsense Sapphire game? Say it ain't so. It's not as if it didn't happen almost
10 times,
all the
15
time.
times?
Like,
Exactly.
I think it's like around 90% by this point. It's literally the last time that they faced off against each other in the upper bracket. That was the only time it didn't happen. And for now, you can see at Kaguya, the stats don't lie. The utility is so much more on point. 21 assists for Alaka. In this half, they're getting so much more value with the suppress, with the fragment, compared to what we saw on the first half. Same thing for Bess. She was just absolutely quiet in the first half. Here in the second, her stars have been so much, I'd say, a factor into this game. She's been getting the kills too, and RRQ looking prime and ready. They just need to keep playing flawlessly from this point on.
Yeah, this round is a chance for them to really get a freebie more or less, because there's only going to be that one hero rifle onto Ginny, and perhaps because of that, Fullsense, they look to make a quick aggressive push onto this B site. Just a couple of players though that they have to deal with already. Iceberg with that reveal, trying to do some damage, doing quite a bit of chip in fact through that spray transfer.
Oh, good damage. Bar goes low, and here comes Bess yet again. Bess doing it better. One more time and one more show. Bess at the ready, and here comes Navsky and Alaka too. The Odin's brought out, by the way, and RRQ make it to double digits. It seems like their defensive protocol, Zach, it's just such a trap that sprung at the right time.
That's what happens when you have Bess kind of just, like you mentioned, using that Astra utility. Just a little bit of a fun fact here. You know, before this half started, every single player on the side of Sapphire, including whoever was on the bottom then, had more kills than every single player on the side of Kaguya. I think that the lowest number of kills was like 9 or something for Sapphire, and every single one of Kaguya's players were below it. But at 12 to 10, suddenly that margin is just narrowed so much here. And Fullsense, they're really struggling to make some kind of headway onto site, especially with how RRQ, they're just not giving them that space for free. They're making them fight for every inch of the way.
Yeah, these were our concerns for Fullsense Sapphire. They have the buffer, yes, but they still need to get the job done. Trailblazer now into play. Muffin dashing through the gravity well, and Fullsense Sapphire looking for an opportunity to get the cash on. The Cascade play doesn't work out. Iceberg ready for it. Best of Alaka too. And this time around, RRQ getting payback versus Fullsense Sapphire. If we saw in that first half, Zach, it was all Sapphire reading RRQ. This time around, the book has been flipped, the author has been changed, and RRQ is in command.
That's like the second or third flawless round that they've had in this half. Very, very clean work coming out of them. And one of the things that our panelists did bring up was Kaguya's mental, right? So often they're on the back foot, and against Sapphire in particular, they just tend to kind of let go of the game. But not today. They are fighting for their lives, and they're aware of it. So we're kind of seeing the best gameplay that we've seen from them over the course of this entire tournament kind of coming out here. Now, this final round, Ultimates, there's going to be one for either side. You do have, of course, the Bladestorm almost online for Muffin, and thankfully for Sapphire, they're still able to afford a buy, but Kaguya has to double up this time.
Return to sender, here we go yet again. Doesn't work though. The dash quick from Muffin, dislodging the initial shot from Ayumi. He trades the gun, juggles it around to put it towards the backside. Here's the Secret Zone into play. Alaka yet again, trying to play the angle on top of Dugout. Flash getting ready. Here comes the pop. Trailblazers there too. Fullsense now have made their way towards A, and we see alert from Polly also. that can get the catch. Loaded up for this scenario. Baby TZ gets gone, but Muffin victimized by the bullet storm. 5 HP for Margot as well. Dangerous now here for Fullsense Sapphire. They're away from the site. Laying a post plant to try and go for main. The heal though not enough. Alaka finding Margot to begin with. Advantage now here for side of RRQ. And Polly looking to reinforce, but Ayumi with the clear now. Jinny gonna be spotted and taken down. Polly fighting back. It's 1v3 though. Alaka already on defuse duty. Look who's watching. It's not just Napsky but the turret too. And come on, we get overtime. We expect it by this point.
Yeah, it was the comeback coming in for RRQ Kaguya here. It was 11-3. I feel like that's like the new magic number. Move over 9-3. 11-3 has the new fashion trend to really come back from. But RRQ, they do it, and they do it almost flawlessly. In particular, they've just so much better at their defensive stalling power with the utility that they're running. Napsky and Bess, of course, both of them with that denial thanks to the nano swarms, but their positioning as well, right? They're just ready for the plays coming in out of Fullsense Sapphire. They have like the entire playbook for themselves set up. Ayumi find an early pick? Check. They try to push onto side aggressively. Crossfire to take them apart? Check. So they're just going through the checkboxes on this defensive side. And honestly, this game, it seems like it comes down to whoever can win their attacking and defending both, which I know is the point of overtime. But with the way they seem they're struggling on defense, it's going to come down to who holds that defense stronger.
Look, they got the Zap to-do list checkbox absolutely attuned. And 9-3 answered by the 9-3 even. We are tied up. We go into overtime. And this is what we honestly expected from a matchup like this. Sure, Fullsense Sapphire history is on their side, but Kaguya has the momentum. And Kaguya, they also know how to go for victories like this. Muffin now, up in hand. Your standard setup for Fullsense Sapphire, where it's Baby TZ waiting on the other side of the map. Margot, keeping an eye out of Art though. There's the swings right now from Bess and Alaka. Cascade the answer, at least to try and go for the stall. Beautiful suppress. And because of the timing, Margot can't manipulate the high tide as she would like. Napsky on the board and RRQ with the chance. Here comes Alaka as well. And the KO conundrum is unsolved here by Fullsense Sapphire. As the plant goes down, advantage is RRQ's.
And they're going to be having an operator on this retake as well. Sapphire, they seem to be in a lot of trouble here in this 3v5. Player on site, going to be that first obstacle that they have to deal with, but they haven't quite checked it yet.
Oh, it's dangerous, but Polly gets to clear on the iceberg. The one on the site is gone already. Many though towards main, double up towards R2, and Jinny, she will dare peek, and she will be denied because of it. Muffin, the only one still standing, can't get the transfer on, and RRQ, it was 9-3 a while ago, it's RRQ instead now on match point. What a twist of fate.
Match point.
And remember, that was the attacking round that they won, the side that they struggled on. So now they're going to be heading back to more familiar territory. It's the defender side coming up. All they have to do is close this one out, and feeling the pressure, feeling the game slipping out of their hands. It's going to be a timeout called by Fullsense Sapphire. Now, you know, we talked about how methodical they were in that first half, how they were happy to play off of Yuto. That was not the Sapphire that we saw in that first defensive half. It was so chaotic, especially with that first kill going through, right? You expect Baby TC to wait for the rest of the team, but she tries to find the timing, and Alaka was just ready for it with that positioning.
But Alaka is that linchpin player right now. Not
Alaka's
only
her.
Alaka is her, and Alaka is the reason really why RRQ Kaguya is getting so much of the success. I cannot stress enough how important it is for her to hit some stellar utility angles, especially with the 0 point right. We saw that Margot couldn't really do anything as soon as she was suppressed. That high tide just went, okay, it's going that way, sure, whatever. And we've seen this so many times. Because you're playing that double wall, if you can't put it up in sync, if you can't time it right the way that you would want, well, it's gonna struggle to actually get that defensive hold, and Alaka has just been that cog that has broken the machine.
Yeah, 26 assists, but right now, by the way, she's already managed to make her way up in that score chart. Gonna be picking up the Odin for this round as well. And when you're on that A side, there's just so many wall-bangable positions that you can really capitalize off. Ayumi also gonna be sticking with that operator, so a lot of chances for Kaguya to really find that crucial first blood. Now, for for Fullsense, this rushing B or rushing A strategy hasn't been quite working out, so they're heading towards this mid side instead. Hoping for a little bit of map control to try and help them out, but RRQ, they're playing so far back here. They just want to play for the sites.
Fullsense Sapphire, everything has fallen all apart. They can't allow the pressure to get to them, though. Still a chance to tie things up. Go for another overtime if ever. You have Jinny. Maybe trying to go for the lurk towards Art, but Instead, they regroup as we move towards B instead. Best, though, behind the smoke. We've seen how effective the spray from both Iceberg and Best has been to cover this advance. Polly waiting too, and Fullsense Sapphire. Such a slow play. The Jiggle Peak now gets confirmation. Some intel here for RRQ to work with. Polly looking for contact, reloads quickly. It's getting so tense here. Fullsense Sapphire waiting for the timing. The jump peak now confirms the numbers, and the rotation will be pulled accordingly. Best moving forward. Same case for Iceberg. The snake bite though gets the connection. A chance here perhaps for Fullsense Sapphire to take advantage, and Polly does so with impunity. 2 down. It's 4v3 for now. Lurk even all the way in the middle, but Alaka gets the find the baby TZ equalized now.
Heal up, squad. Don't get into my world.
Oh!
For the wallbang damage, Napsky, she finds it, and that's such a crucial kill here. Now the last hopes of Sapphire towards his backside area is being pincered down by utility. Ginny with the flash here, able to connect, but the kills don't come in for Muffin, and now it's just Muffin against the world. A 1v3 to keep their dreams alive, but a Yumi, she denies even that, and RRQ, they make the comeback of the century to take map number 1.
Such a heartbreaker there for Fullsense Sapphire. It just collapses at the seams. They get the Viper Spit. What happens? They get hit by the Odin wall bangs. They had the angle towards Halls. They couldn't get the shot. And you mentioned it. The comeback completed by RRQ Kaguya. They've been waiting for this all throughout the year, Zach. An overtime win over Fullsense Sapphire. The first dish of revenge looking pretty sweet so far. Can RRQ Kaguya provide that main course down the line in the series?
That does seem to be the hope indeed, especially when you consider the remaining 2 maps that are coming up, because this is the first time we're seeing this in this open on stream. But the other 2 maps, we saw it in that upper bracket where RRQ, they kind of lost badly. But before we talk about either of those, our panelists probably have something to say about this particular map. So Quack and Tash, I want to hear what you guys have to say.
There is a lot to say, but first of all, the circle of redemption, of revenge is slowly coming to a close. Just now, we just talked about how, Fullsense Sapphire does so good on defense, but it's their attack that is going to be the problem. So when the overtime hit, I was thinking we're going to go back to back, back to back, back to back, but RRQ seems to have managed to break the defenses of Fullsense Sapphire.
Yeah, and Fullsense Sapphire conversely, couldn't really do anything, right? It was so weird, like some bizarre world where we just completely flip sides, and this has happened several times already today, and it just comes back to it, because it is that mental game between both teams, and when you look at it logically on paper, it feels as if Fullsense Sapphire should be the ones on top. They had such a good half, they have Ginny as their IGL, but then RRQ, whether or not it's a Yumi, I just love the fact that the team stepped up. The team came out on top of overtime. Look at the scores.
Yeah, the scores here, again, when you look at Baby TZ just now, I think there was a lot of praise sang for her on how she anchored and how she made sure no one could get onto the site, which was also what we talked about in terms of SMG avoided her at all costs. But then on the flip side, when it came to the defense side, you start to see this aggression come through here from RRQ, which shows in the stats, especially for Ayumi, how she plays aggressive and getting that support from her teammates. Earlier in the previous map in Fracture, I believe, against Orangutan, I think we were talking about how sometimes RRQ tends to play on their own, and we saw that happening again in the beginning of the game. And I'm just glad that in a way it was sort of like a salvation moment for them, because it's best to get those mistakes out earlier than later, and I think that's what happened to RRQ. And again, Ayumi, when she's playing with her teammates, when she's getting the support, this is what we expect to see.
Yeah, without a doubt. Not only is she set up or sometimes making plays by herself, you could see earlier from before that with the round histories, right? Especially towards the second half, a lot of those rounds were won by, some of it, I think 3 of those rounds were retakes, and then the rest of them were basically just kill rounds. And that says to me that it's a lot of RRQ kind of getting good reads on how Fullsense Sapphire is playing, but at the same time, apart from a Yumi, you've got players like Iceberg, Napsky, Aluka coming in just to follow up on some of that early round aggression, and it really came out huge on top.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about early round aggression, Aluka, when she started bringing that Odin to the fight, I was like, damn, it's Jover. Because there was just so much control coming in from that Odin. The wall banks that come through, the denial of space as well when she spams it. So it's just a lot of pressure put onto Fullsense Sapphire. And on top of that, the how many rounds in a row can really mentally tilt you, and we start to see that toward the end. Regardless, that is the end for the first map of the third series of the day. After this, whether or not Fullsense Sapphire can bring it back will be the question, because it will be their map pick, Lotus, and we'll be right back.
One enemy remaining. Long. Out.
It's like Romeo and Juliet, the love of the forbidden between these two teams. Fullsense, Sapphire, and RRQ Kaguya. Outside the game, they're lovers, but in-game, there are, I wouldn't say haters, but maybe rivals. But anyways,
Okay.
Tash Buddy here alongside Quack. And we are your analysts for today, and there is a lot to unpack in that last game. While it seemed like Fullsense Sapphire had the full control of the situation in the first half, coming to the second half, RRQ Kaguya show us what firepower truly means.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened on Pearl. I was like, hold up, thinking Romeo and Juliet. So what happens is like the third map, they kind of just agree to surrender at the same time. No, I'm kidding. But we're moving on into Lotus, right? And just thinking about how these teams have played so far. Again, you got to think about their lineage, their past histories. And Fullsense Sapphire has cleanly defeated RRQ so many times.
It's
Today
true.
on Pearl, we swap things around, but on Lotus, is it gonna be the same story?
You know, let's talk. If we want to talk about stories, we have to talk about history. Just recently, in the upper semifinals, Fullsense Sapphire actually defeated RRQ Kaguya in a clean 13-5 fashion. So it does make a statement. Again, the question begs is what did Fullsense Sapphire, what did RRQ Kaguya learn from that particular match? I think they will know that in terms of how it goes for Fullsense Sapphire, a lot of the time it's a lot about retakes and those diffuses. They managed to put the spike down, but can they clinch that post plant?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that we're thinking about, right? Because it's not just that game in the upper semifinals as well. It's also the one from, the previous open upper quarterfinals where Fullsense Sapphire won 14-12. So it's happened so many times, and we're thinking about, yes, those post plants. Lotus is a little bit different from Pearl, right? You don't have as many spamming angles and whatnot. It comes down to utility. It comes down to your positioning after you get the spike down. Can you even get the spike down? That's the main thing. RQ, they've come up with a slightly different composition from before, and we're seeing it again. When they last played this against Deviant Topaz, they had Navsky on that Cypher. So a little bit more freedom instead of just anchoring down a single site. You're not just a Killjoy with a bunch of nano swarms. You might be able to come up with some sneaky plays.
Yeah, I mean, this was highlighted by Dax during the break. RRQ Kaguya, when they had Natsuki on the Cypher, it's a lot more about control. When we talk about control, it's always, the first thing that comes to mind will be Fullsense Sapphire. That's exactly how they play. That's why they're running the Omen and the Viper. But now, in this situation, I think for a lot of these teams, when you look at Lotus, it's all about that area of control. Mound control, rubble control. And in a lot of situations, we're always gonna see these brawls happening toward rubble, toward mount. And the other question is whether anyone will be proactive enough to push out from B main to get that early pick and then just get the heck out of there, because that's usually the case when you want to see teams play aggressive. And for RRQ Kaguya, aggression is the name of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually say, you know what, let's take this fight. Let's try and fight for rubble and then just pincer them as they try to rotate onto another site.
See, but that's the thing, because when you're playing against a team like Fullsense Sapphire and they are controlling the map, they're starting things out on attack. If they anticipate some of your actions, it could be a whole different story. I mean, remember how we started out on Pearl, and that's when Fullsense Sapphire was playing a really strong defensive side, was playing that really kind of careful, methodical, slow approach to the game. But then again, when we went over into that second half, things got flipped around. Does that shake up Fullsense Sapphire's confidence? They need to be this team that really works together. They need to keep their comms up. They need to come back into the game and just start with a clean slate.
That's right. And I think that we had this conversation as well about how Fullsense Sapphire, they didn't really have that confidence. And when they feel confident, it really shows in their gameplay. But when it starts to shake, suddenly everything just falls apart. And I'm really hoping that when things go wrong, they can still communicate and still play as a team. And this goes for both teams. Regardless, let's see whether it's going to be a 2-0 or 2-1. Tossing it over to our casters, Dax and Zach. You guys are big Upin and Upin fans. What does Upin and Upin say when they, their catchphrase rather?
No thanks, I'm not gonna quote the Malaysian there. That's your show that you love. That's all yours, Tash. But Right now, Zach, we have finally seen RRQ Kaguya get that first map win this year versus Fullsense Sapphire. But the elusive first series is gonna be a tough, long road ahead because we're moving into a proven map for the side of Fullsense. It's Lotus, and we were talking about it during the break. You know that this is pretty much one of the best maps, if not the best map, Fullsense Sapphire has in their resume so far.
Yeah, pretty much. They've only lost it one time this year so far against SMG, and they were able to beat SMG on this map as one of the teams, in fact, I think the only team this year that has taken maps off of SMG. In fact, that's definitely an achievement that they have under their belt. And historically, even though RRQ in the past was able to push this particular map to an overtime, they have never been able to win it against them. So we have a very likely possibility of that map 3 coming up, Fracture coming up, unless of course RRQ, they're able to take Lotus away for the first time from this Sapphire squad. We talked about the agent comps before we went for that break, in particular that Cypher coming into play here for the side of Kaguya. And honestly, I think Napsky on Cypher, it's very scary.
Well, we did talk about the agent composition, Zach. Don't worry, I can feel your message from beyond the pond. And exactly that, to quote Quack, who quoted me, it was all about that Cypher and Killjoy mix-up when they faced off against each other in the upper bracket, right? It was difficult for RRQ Kaguya because it felt like Napsky wasn't as ready to play the Killjoy on Lotus compared to them running the Cypher. We saw how effective Cypher has been against Deviant Topaz. It's something a lot more comfortable, and it's also a composition that they played overtime against Fullsense Sapphire back in the Swiss stage. So this is a better look for RRQ. They're the ones with the advantage, and if they win this, they're finally going to get the dub they've been looking for all throughout this year versus Sapphire.
Yeah, it's a good start at least. I mean, it's like the small boss battle before the big boss battle because there's still SMG waiting in that grand finals, which neither of these teams have defeated quite yet. But hey, it's step by step along the way. And the first step is, of course, dealing with this defense coming out of RRQ's side. Cypher towards that mid area. Almost a triple stack, in fact, towards the C side. The expectation there, and it's going to be a rightful prediction.
Yeah, Paranoia perfect now, and RRQ with the push. Momentum from the last game, perhaps. Everything looks so positive and confident from RRQ with the way that they play. And with a pickoff like that, they now rotate themselves toward that A side that they abandoned so far. This is the power of the Cypher, though. The tripwires are there, but the Trailblazer can look for the clear. Still, it's not enough. Margot actually gonna run into it. Napsky with the kill. It's 5v3. She's good for the first hit. She get a second along the way. No, Baby TZ denies that. But Alaka, Iceberg, they're all already on the angles that they need to be. RRQ looking better than ever so far versus Sapphire. They're hounding Baby TZ now. Time is running out. The contacts there versus Alaka. Baby TZ wins it, but it's 3v1. Spike in the middle. Difficult now, especially the flash. Swing comes from Best. Best goes down. Baby TZ went 4! What's going on? Again, Baby TZ on pace perhaps for the ace. That goes down. Baby TZ though will be denied there. It got way too close for comfort, but RRQ will still take it.
That was basically almost a 1v5 that we saw coming out of Baby TZ. And she was aware of Ayumi's positioning as well. Just that in that little bit of frazzleness between getting the spike down and repositioning, Baby TZ was not able to get that final kill. But very, very good positioning coming out of the RRQ squad, at least in the beginning. But just letting Baby TZ find those isolated 1v1s, a little bit of a mistake there. It could have been very, very bad for them in the end. But thankfully, Ayumi, she doesn't miss this particular shot. And that will be the pistol taken by RRQ. For Sapphire, despite getting the plant, they're not going to be forcing up, but oh my god, Dax, Baby TZ is just one off of that lockdown. It's only been the pistol!
Exactly, I'm looking at it too. That's like 7 orbs along the way, huh? And even if she dies right now, she's going to have the lockdown for the next round. Seems like Ginny though going to be the first victim. Alaka, a stellar peak on the raise, starts things off strong. Playing aggressive towards mid, and you see for Kaguya, the plan is find that pick, but also respectful send Sapphire. It's a chance for Sapphire to reset, yes, and maybe that's a danger point here if you let someone like Baby TZ or Muffin get back in position. But they want to play the numbers here on the defense, and that they do so far.
Camera for early information as well. Know about this pivot towards this particular C site right now. Maybe TZ kind of leading the charge with the Sheriff here, but still, it's gonna be Napsky on the site being an absolute menace.
We have it, Muffin. Breaks the tripwire. Nabsky playing really efficiently. Into the smoke we go though, and Nabsky just lets it rip. Low HP targets, takes advantage of the fact. Best on the board too, and here comes Iceberg. Yet again, you see these retakes even if the spike does or doesn't go down. Angles always taken by RRQ, and in the map like Lotus, it's even better.
Yeah, we talked about how that Cypher makes such a huge difference before, and that's because that information that Nabsky is able to get for the team, even if the camera does get taken down in the process, it's just so valuable for the rest of RRQ to set themselves up for success off of, because it just lets them rotate and understand better how Sapphire like to play. They, at this point, right, we talked about it a million times, this is a grudge match. These teams, they know each other down to their very toes, and they know exactly what they like to do. So Sapphire's measured gameplay on Lotus, it's something that RRQ have been analyzing and trying to work around for months, if not years at this point.
Yeah, exactly that. Pretty much a full year that RRQ Kaguya have had Fullsense Sapphire on their minds. The way they were counteracted on back then last year in Elite. The way that they lost their slot against the X10 Sapphire roster before, and beautifully done by Yumi as well. Bonus time here for RRQ. They get a pick yet again to begin with. Lockdown though, providing space. Fullsense with the plant. Got you.
Get the spike down, but already the camera provides so much information, letting Alka get a nasty wallbang, in fact, to start things off with. Now, a 3v5. Sure, the weapon advantage is in the hands of our Fullsense, but RRQ, they have the numbers.
Look, RRQ Kaguya, they're playing by the tenet. The best things in life are for free, but Paulie will make them pay for it. Baby TC2 on the board. The flash is there. Gets the connection, sure, but Baby TC holds down the lines. 3 for her. Paulie also absolutely in the right position. And Fullsense Sapphire, they stand tall there.
That was a 3v5, and the third person wasn't even involved. It was just Baby TZ and Ginny on side, kind of fragging their hearts out there. But, you know, nice opener to start off from the duelist of RRQ. It's just that they, again, we talked about these 1v1s versus 1vx situations before, and just giving somebody like Baby TZ a free 2v1, that's just not something you do and expect to walk away from.
She hits those. She's able to make those kind of plays work. And we see this right now, the struggles of RRQ Kaguya on the first half of when they go for the strike peaks because of perhaps habit or because of confidence. They are punished accordingly by Sapphire. Fullsense now though. Trailblazers are going to be into play, scouting on around. Ayumi hiding her position so far. You know the operator's out. The paranoia though doesn't get the connection, and it's perfect timing from Ayumi instead. Paulie falls. A desperate endeavor there from Ayumi, but she will be felled. Best instead holding things down. Margot's there too. Chaos now onto the A side. Baby TZ lets it rip, and it's 2v2 for the time being. Spawn though, the position of power here for RRQ. They love the paint shells. They go for the paranoia, but do they expect where Baby TZ is? Yes, they do. Alaka with the clear. It's all up to Margot now, but the flashback is on her, and there's no way to get the hit. Timing perfect from Alaka, and it's RRQ with a third round on the board.
I like that RRQ, over the course of this defensive half, they've been really keeping up the pressure. Even if Fullsense gets the spike down, they are just not given the space and time to really reposition themselves. And in that situation, right, just Olga having that showstopper and the rest of her kits was so huge there. Even in that 2v2 kind of situation, it gives her like a freebie and she's ready to capitalize off the back of it. Unfortunately, the satchel as well, just landing on Margot's face, kind of hiding whatever limited vision you have. Not an optimal situation for a 1v2.
And Margot was pretty chill about it. It's on me? Oh, okay, I guess I'll try to swing. But for once, in this game, I have seen someone actually forced to peek an angle they didn't want to the way that they would like. So, well done there by Alaka. It's why we always tout this dynamic duo in the front line. And oh, Ayumi, danger close, no problem. Quick reaction versus Paulie. Advantage yet again from RRQ. They've been so meticulous at drawing these first kills to their favor. Baby TZ, different plan now, pushing on forward. The Goombot gets the intel. There's the from Iceberg, and well done by RRQ. Ginny fights back though. Eco round here for Fullsense, and they're getting the kills that they need. Ginny's ready for this one, and she lets the sheriff rip. Here comes the smoke going down. Nabsky takes advantage. Paranoia is gonna be there. Get the blades from Ayumi as well. A pinch possible here for the side of RRQ. With Muffin on top of upper already. In the middle, it's dangerous, and Ayumi will get the backstep onto Margot. Blade sharp! It seems like Ayumi's cooking. Here's another round for RRQ.
Again, in that 2v2, just RRQ able to utilize whatever utility and the crucial neural theft as well to smoke out the position of these remaining players. Nabsky just tosses her hat off, and it seems like the member of RRQ, Fullsense on site, was just completely mesmerized by it. Distracts her, and of course, this opener from Ayumi. This is like the second time that you see her holding like these really unconventional positions on this A side, and she just finds so much value off the back of it. So RRQ, they're slowly but surely building up the momentum here. Timeout gonna be finally called by Sapphire. They have the buy. They have a lot of ults that they can work with. They already have the Seekers, of course, but Baby TZ already the lockdown almost coming back. This is the second lockdown she has in 6 rounds.
Yeah,
That
and
is-
it's like, sure, that's a great fact and all, Zach, but Fullsense Sapphire only has 1 round still. They struggle to capitalize on those kind of plays that are absolutely heroic from Baby TZ. We've seen time after time that the numbers dwindle so early on, and I kind of want to bring this up yet again. If last game it was that KO pick that helped RRQ out immensely to counteract the Fullsense strategies, now Aluka is a problem. Nabsky is a big problem as well, and RRQ have been so meticulous at getting early advantages because of their setups.
They've been very, very methodical on this map, but like if you compare the last time they played this particular one to how they're playing it right now, they just look so much more composed, and they have these set plays that they've been working on. Like for example, the push coming out last round by Ayumi. There's a flash by Best to clear out that space, even if it doesn't detect anyone. Ayumi is still aware of the possibility of someone being inside that very smoke, and she's super careful about how she clears it. This time around, it's gonna be Aluka kind of taking that extra space on A side, and with that presence established early on, with them taking that much control, it just cuts down the lanes that Fullsense can really go into.
Yeah, Fullsense, it might be forced to play the C here. We're Nabsky's waiting. They get a bit of contact now, at least trying to put themselves in a position for that lockdown. And that's why they tripled up even, moving into Mount. Get that orb and let Baby TZ create that space. Still have the camera though into play on the side. The triple are also slowing down the push. And Fullsense Sapphire navigate their way eventually towards the objective. High ground taken here as well by Fullsense. Here the Seekers gonna catch out Aluka. RRQ struggling to peak so far. Baby TZ, that's the first kill that they're looking for. Big commitment actually here from Fullsense just to win out the round. Viper bit online. Muffin in a good position as well. Now it receives as Polly falls, but Aluka can't handle them all. It's Fullsense here who commit and get the round.
Very, very expensive round for them because they committed 4 ults, if I'm not wrong. 3 ults, sorry. The From the Shadows was from Iceberg, yeah, but they committed a lot in that round. The Lockdown, the Seekers, as well as that Viper's Pit. So maybe a little bit too much, but hey, they win the round in pretty convincing style, and they have the showstopper for this particular one. So not too bad a round coming out of them. I think that the biggest difference maker in that particular round was just how cautious they were playing. They didn't move until the last couple seconds of that Lockdown, and despite BBTZ finding a kill, they were still willing to invest that Viper's Pit to be sure of it.
Yeah, it's a lot more wary here from Fullsense Sapphire, and truthfully, what we expect more so from them, the teamwork, the coordination, and the way that they're gonna go for those kind of trades if ever. Showstopper though online, Tripwire yet again, immediately getting value. Muffin cannot cross that line more so. It will be a plant though here from Fullsense. Paranoia Lob trying to cause some distractions. Ayumi's waiting for anyone to peek on out. Rifle still at the ready here for RRQ. Ayumi, does she find a target? Fullsense. It's a game of chicken, and eventually Ayumi has to bite. Peeks the doorway, the swing there, not enough. Margot gets that first takedown. Best answers back, though, on the other side. Iceberg's there, too, and RRQ! Any angle looking to be taken, but Aluka left alone in a 1v2 situation. Here she comes, but down she falls. Baby TZ again. So consistent and so critical. 3 now for her.
3 for Baby TZ. Half the Lockdown back online again. I feel like this particular half, we gotta be counting how many times Baby TZ gets her ult online, because it's 2.5 so far, and it's not even half the half over
Don't
yet.
worry, Zach. You're my counter. You will keep tabs on it for us.
I will do that. That's the statistic that I am most focused on this bonus map in particular. But like you mentioned, incredibly consistent, very, very good positioning coming out of Sapphire in that post plant, especially. The patience, of course, on waiting for Ayumi when she breaks that door. But more than that, they're just able to set themselves up to take space across multiple areas of that B side. They get that spike down, and a lot of the previous rounds, we saw them just kind of go up towards heaven or go fall back. But instead, they're able to set up that crossfire and kind of maintain it while also inflicting casualties on site as Fullsense tries to come in for the retake there. So they hold on to that showstopper. They use that showstopper, but now Aluka has hers back, so they don't really have anything to deal with that thing.
Yeah, it's a struggle though. It's gonna be basically an eco round here for RRQ Kaguya. And from what they've seen so far, Fullsense Sapphire, they're understanding how they're playing these retakes. If things are going to be a bit more spread out, Fullsense Sapphire will be happy to oblige. And if you have players like maybe TZ hitting some incredible shots, Margot will follow suit. And from that point on, Sapphire has so much confidence in the dual potential that they have here. So it's an interesting flip of the script compared to what we saw in map number 1 in that first half. But RRQ, they adjust accordingly. Look at this contest to try and play into Rubble Zap. The flash is there. The toxic screen gonna be into play too. Anti-flash angle. It's dangerous. Alaka pushing forward. Best gets one, but well beyond that, it's Fullsense with the guns. Best gets two. That's big so far. Spikes down. Maybe a third. There you go. She lines it up. Napsky on the board. And what's going on? RRQ Kaguya making the best out of a bad situation. And who needs money when you can win the thrifty? RRQ now with the 5.
Nice timeout, and of course, the way that they've been using the toxic screen out of Sapphire themselves to just scale up round after round, it has been incredibly impressive. Of course, the shots from Best to be finding those couple of kills, but just that kind of prediction that, alright, look, we've seen a lot of C pressure coming out, probably gonna be an A hit. They make the read and they stack up on site and they are rewarded for their efforts. Now, once again, Ayumi gonna have the money to pick up that operator, and because of that round, Best will have her Seekers and Napsky, her Euro guns once again for this round.
And look at the economy here. RRQ reinvested, having the operator, and still a bit of creds to work with. Things now looking pretty ship-shape for RRQ Kaguya. Fullsense, they lose. It's going to be even more difficult now to try and rally. But the shot doesn't get the connection. The swing, the double peek actually from Muffin and Margot providing choices. Fullsense, they now know the op is playing towards that C site. They're looking to see if they can go for the overrun if ever.
Oh, nice smoke though. That's gonna cut off line of sight, forcing Ayumi to reposition. With that pain shell coming in, it's just gonna be a little bit of a miss there, and finally Margot able to spray her down and take that first blood. Still gonna be some heavy side presence, but Wilson's more than ready for it.
No, the showstopper was waiting for the cross, and Muffin, she just picked up the operator, and down she goes. 3v3 now as the spike is denied. Alaka holding the angle close yet again. Blast back at the ready. Napsky though will fall, couldn't get the burst in time. Iceberg with the answer, it's 2v2, and we go yet again to a critical junker. Paranoid though perfected here by Iceberg. Can't swing off it, it's just a stall so far. Smoke also in the way as Jenny's rotating and retreating. A bit of time here for RRQ, or rather Fullsense, to move to another site perhaps. It's gonna be close, but maybe they can make it towards B.
20 seconds indeed, and they're running for their life. They have to go towards this B side. No real scope to go towards A, but they should be able to make it in time. You can see Iceberg deciding if she wants to rotate or not, but instead chooses to fall back and wait for the teammate. The spike itself looking to go down here. Iceberg gets a little bit greedy though. Huge punishment.
Yeah, they anticipate that, and Paulie fighting back yet again. Low HP on one. Ginny over onto the corner. Does Alaka dare peek this? Isolates Ginny. There you go. The angle and the opportunity. Pain shells flushes Paulie out. Perfect chance for Alaka right now. Goes for the stick, cancels it actually. A single bullet is enough to win the round here for RRQ, and Alaka delivers. 6-3 now.
Like you could stop me.
Very, very nice 1v2 play coming out, and unfortunately for Polly there, she had to trade her teammate when they went down, because otherwise there's just no way that you're gonna win out that 1v1, especially with a Bulldog in hand. You're not gonna be able to take out Alaka with just a headshot, right? You need to be able to take that 2v1, but Sapphire, despite holding the advantages in that last post plant, just weren't able to capitalize off it. They didn't manage to rotate out very well. That was the price that they managed it, because the spike control was there. But in the end, just a little bit too much to ask for them. Like you mentioned, 6-3. RRQ after the timeout looking very much revitalized. It seems like that thrifty round has given them the energy they need to deal with practically anything. And they will be able to reinvest in this operator as well. Because hey, when you got money, you just buy Ayumi the big gun.
Yeah, we go again with the op. We go again perhaps with the angle from Ayumi. But Alaka really is the star of the show right now. Her utility, especially her pain shells, have been getting so much value in these tight corridors. Contesting now towards Mound. The poison cloud in the way as well to allow Fullsense to try and fake that rubble take. Paranoia tossed by RRQ, so it's not that fast from RRQ. They're showing presence on one side of the map and hanging back on the other, waiting for Ayumi to get opportunity.
She's in the right spot as well. Again though, that poison wall kind of giving Fullsense a little bit of cover to work with as they try to scale up, but unless this squad is really careful, Ayumi, she's still gonna be able to find the angle and the timing, especially with that cloud going down. Another smoke forced out of the omen here to get a little bit more space. And Margot herself, she's gonna be TPing on the site. Oh, that's That's so dangerous.
Nice try, but Bess instead will find a takedown. Here comes Iceberg and Paul and RRQ set themselves up for success. This backside hold from Bess has been effective, but here comes Fullsense. Ayumi eventually, third time's the charm. And the kill comes towards her way. Baby TC now in a 1v2. We've seen her do this before, but not against Ayumi, who's ready. This is another one for RRQ.
I like that paint shell being tossed out by Aluka there, just cutting
Right?
off, portioning the side. It's forcing her into Yumi's grasp. And Baby TC, of course, tries to isolate the fight, hoping against hope that that's not going to be where the op is trained. But, you know, Ayumi doesn't miss much, honestly, especially when you give her a clean shot like that. So, once again, Sapphire, their economy is going to be broken. Sure, they have the ults to work with for this round, but RRQ, they have a chance to push this all the way to 8, while also saving up these major ultimates for that next one. In particular, that Blade Storm, we saw how dangerous Ayumi can be with it. Another tool in her arsenal apart from that operator. One kill and she'll get it online.
Yeah, if she ever needs it in a pinch, but here we go. This is dangerous for Fullsense. A good heads up though from Baby TZ. Putting that turret early. Realize RRQ. Show their presence towards that B site. Want to try and manipulate that kind of position, but look who's ready yet again. Ayumi. Now the plays are a go. Baby TZ though will dull them quickly. 4v4 for now. Tripwire slowing them down. Here we go again. Happy New Year, courtesy of Aluka. The angels to be loved. Ollie and Baby TZ though celebrating their own kind of victories with Aluka eventually does get the frag kill. Iceberg getting ready with the corner. Here comes Paulie with a Viper Spit online. So at least a safety net built here by Fullsense Sapphire. Who dares wade in these waters? It's dangerous for RRQ, so they're gonna back off for now.
It's a very awkward fight as well because they have a Sheriff and an Operator inside a Viper's Pit. So it's going to be very difficult for them to safely get that spike down and cover the person. They're trying to bait out this push from RRQ here. It seems like RRQ, they're buying it.
Oh, it's gonna be dangerous. Paulie's waiting for this one now. And she's just creeping closer and closer. Iceberg will find Shinny. And Bess also waiting patiently. It seems like Fullsense Sapphire, they jump first, and RRQ will be there to catch
Last
them.
round in the half.
Yeah, they really wanted Kaguya to push into the Viper's Pit, but RRQ, they were just so ready for it. They were like, okay, look, we have the advantage. While they're planting the spike, we'll try to take that 2v1. And they were just happy to wait for the move to come out of Sapphire. Now, at least Sapphire for this final round, they're gonna have the bye. They have the 4th lockdown out of Baby TZ, if I'm not wrong, and the showstopper for Muffin. But at least with that, they might be able to confirm this round because there's nothing really comparatively available for Kaguya apart from just their raw firepower, which Aluka has been doing very well.
Yeah, they have been providing that. And I will never doubt the Zap counter. If you say this is the 4th lockdown, I will believe it. And that's already such a good ratio, honestly, for Baby TZ. Fullsense though looking for the 4th round. Here comes Muffin yet again. And, well, the trip bar, it has been cleared by Muffin so far. Onto the site, no one's home. Oh, but Navsky walks into that one. Heartbreaker there for RRQ. Losing one to begin this fight. Bess though yet again with the contest. She wins it out yet again. Bess has been on fire recently so far. Swing perhaps there from Aluka. Double thinks and double backs. The lockdown yet again providing the space here for Fullsense Sapphire. Upper angle, Aluka onto the corner. Snake fight though, that's gonna be good. Paranoia is there and Muffin avoids it, but Yumi does get the kill. Aluka now, does she go for the swing? Yes, she does and gets the kill anyway. 3v2, Margot with a wraparound, finds Bess, gets that kill. Margot again with the kill! And it's all about the 1v1. Margot versus Iceberg, familiar faces, but Margot maximizes opportunity. 8-4 is where we end this first half.
Better than the last time around, but however, RRQ, they have the lead in this particular map, despite it being a map that historically they have struggled against, and more than that, historically, Fullsense, they've looked very strong on RRQ. They have looked incredible over the course of this half. In particular, just their positioning, it has been phenomenal, and of course, Aluka gets a special points for getting so many paint shell kills. This last round, of course, Margot was able to pull off some heroics, just wrapping around and finding all 3 remaining kills. But before we head into that second half and see if Sapphire can make that comeback, let's see what our panelists have to say.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like breathing a sigh of relief because we're not seeing a 9-3 half for once today. But anyways, coming into this game, I am quite surprised at the outcome of this because historically this map is FSS, I would say, their best map, but RRQ is giving them a run for their money. Coming into this game, I think the firepower coming through and the eagerness and the proactiveness coming in from RRQ is just paying off so very well. Seeing how they play, having full control of Rumble and Mound, and so much control on B side is making it so hard for Fullsense Sapphire to even get onto the site.
Yeah, it's quite literally insane how they're actually denying Fullsense Sapphire that entry. And it's not just because, you know, they're playing control, they're actually trying to fight in a lot of these rounds. And so many times we see a Yumi with that operator always trying to get picks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that presence is something that Fullsense Sapphire has to think about. Although there are some rounds that work out really well because, you know, Margot back on this Omen is one of those things that, like, I really love because that's a throwback to like the very first year before Game Changers was even a thing, and it's like the same squad, but now she's playing against her old teammates. It's great. She landed a lot of insane 180 flicks. But again, I mean, after round 8's timeout, RRQ, they came back in this full swing. They won the Thrifty. They look sharp right now. Fullsense Sapphire, they need to make sure they have that mental stability to carry them forward.
Let's see that happen because right now Baby TZ is spearing the helm alongside Polly. Let's see if they can come back. Let's just toss it over to Zach and Dax. Let's go and see what we can see later. I don't even know I'm saying anymore.
It's okay, Tash, I'll talk for you because I am as excited as you for what else may come our way. Fullsense Sapphire, they're the ones who need to recover now. We've seen RRQ Kaguya Dozak in a position like this before. They had the lead coming into the second half. What happened versus Orangutan X? Always contested along the way. It's dangerous, it's perilous, and it's exciting. Time for us to get to the second half. Sapphire on the defense this time around, and with that double control, we see how effective it can be if Margot and Polly can cut up the battlefield the way that Sapphire would want to.
I think that's going to be the key factor here, how Sapphire can use their utility to stall out. We saw it on Pearl in that previous map, and RRQ, they want to take the fight to them early on already. You see the TP coming out of Iceberg, Best as well, trying to push up with the flash. The entire squad grouped up here, and Ginny finally choosing to commit this Trailblazers to smoke these players out. Still going to be an alarm button play off of as well as the smoke,
and cross the line, and you will be found. Polly, Ginny, Muffin, a roll call right now as Fullsense send out all their defenders and set themselves up for success. That's exactly what we were talking about before this round even started. These toxic screens gonna be so essential for this A defense. In case in point, Cyber Cage in the way, but as soon as it drops, it will be Navsky felled as well. Fullsense, a clean pistol, honestly. Only Polly falls along the way.
Yeah, and that was while she was fighting like 3 people, so completely understandable. But that poison screen debuff, especially on this pistol round, it can just be so I don't know how to say the word. Never mind. It can be really... there's another word I was thinking of, but yeah, detrimental works perfectly fine. So that is going to be Kaguya taken down in very, very quick form. And this is a repeat of kind of what we saw on Pearl. All of those 20-second rounds where people die in 5 seconds flat. That's going to be the pistol starting things off with. And Sapphire, they're going to have a much better buy this time around, going up against just Classics. And what a sheriff from Oliga.
Yeah, anti-ego here, Fullsense, and Baby TZ. She's ready to contend. Still RRQ, just looking for a few picks. They're playing actually a default right now. And you can see that Iceberg has a different plan. Trying to crawl towards Rumble perhaps. Backs away because she feels it's dangerous here. Because of the lobby setup or anti-lobby setup that Fullsense had in the first place. Dorito stacking towards B for now. RRQ trying to keep Fullsense Sapphire guessing. But eventually, they're going to use utility to go for the closer clears, and it's Fullsense just waiting on the sites instead.
Margot having wrapped all the way back around now in the back side here of this A, along with Muffin. So they do have a kind of pseudo crossfire setup. Trailblazers are going to try to smoke these players out. I don't think it's going to really catch anybody in the paint shells. It cuts off these 2 players perfectly.
Muffin gets one. Nasty with the answer. It's 4v4 for now, and Fullsense now reinforce their lines. Backside gets again such strong power points to play with. And Fullsense aptly just set, ready, and will go next.
These
They do
parasites
take
aren't going to
Muffin
take
down,
one
so that's going to
step
be one
past
Spectre,
this
I think,
place.
no longer available. But all things considered, it's going to be a very, very strong bonus coming out of this Fullsense squad here. Kaguya, with their full buy, kind of close to the Seekers, but no other ultimates really online for them, unfortunately. For Fullsense, they are just a couple off of their Viper Spit. So while I doubt we're going to be seeing it this time around, we will see it in the next couple of rounds, which is another piece of extremely powerful stalling utility that's just on their arsenal because of how their team comp works.
We'll see now. With RRQ, they have the rifles into play. I'm just thinking about how would RRQ actually go for this double duelist push. Do they play a bit more safe, hang back and look for the punish? Or do they just send Alok and Ayumi straight up, go for that contact, and look to just have a heavy-handed approach towards the site? They go for the slower play though. Ginny waiting on one side, Ayumi on the other. That's the story of this game so far though, Zach. All about anticipating and waiting. Who dares cross first in this kind of scenario? And as Ayumi now, a solo mission, dangerous if he doesn't clear the corner, case in point.
Oh no.
Ginny was ready for it. One down. And from this point on, RRQ will decide to take the match off the B side. Polly with the taps. Best will get her instead. 4v4, Seekers into play here. And it's RRQ. They're looking to play away from B actually. They're taking that spike elsewhere, Zach. Waterfall being taken. Alaka needs to get these hits, needs to get this contact, but as soon as they realize they're pinched here, they need to go somewhere else. It's dangerous. It's a maze that RRQ needs to run away from. Iceberg now finally planting. Chance perhaps for Muffin to be a big surprise. And there you go. Muffin gets one. Alaka with the trade. Alaka goes for contact yet again. So swift to reinforce. And it's 2v1 after everything is said and done. Heals come and Margot awaits. Alaka, the allure truly. It is 3 for her.
There's just something about Filipino players and their aim, man. I don't know how else to say it, but especially Alaka, right? She's, ever since she joined Alter Ego and, well, the squad that's currently called Kaguya, she's just been on fire. One of the most dependable players for this team. Really, you know, the main reason why RRQ is still such a dangerous team is because of Alaka being able to fill in the position that Ineri used to hold. And this round is exactly why, right? She's able to just set herself up for these trades. And this final crossfire as well that she's able to hold with Bess, that's what kind of cements the round. Despite the initial advantage, there's 2 kills in fact being found by Sapphire. They're still not able to make too much of that bonus, although they at least do a decent amount of damage. Now, the ultimates, they're charging up slowly but surely here. Alaka only 1 off of that showstopper now. And if she can get another orb or just 1 kill, that's going to be a free sight possibly taken by RRQ.
And you guys were talking about it in the last series, right? You know the prodigy and the history of Alaka. The way that she's been able to get better and better, especially when she's on that comfort zone in the front line. And you saw that last round, truthfully. She bailed themselves out of a bad situation. Here we go again though, 4B. Ginny looking to go for that contact. Flash comes on in. Seems like Polly's waiting for it. And Alaka clears one out. The momentum heavily in her favor. 2 down before Margot prevents those fireworks. 4v3 for now, but Margot now in a bad situation. Still though fighting on back. And it's Best instead who is pinch upon pinch right now. Stack upon stack. But RRQ make their way towards A site with the numbers disadvantage.
Spike planted.
They get the spike down. Now it's going to come down to how they set up for this post plant. In fact, it seems like Ayumi, because of that numbers advantage, wants to go aggressive here. Caught out by the flash. And Fullsense, though, they could still line up here if they're not careful. Ginny will prevent that. Now it's just a 1v3. She doesn't check. Baby TZ doesn't check.
Oh no, but Ginny still survives anyway. Well done by Ginny and Baby TZ. 2 moments where it was dangerous. 2 moments that he still survive. And Fullsense Sapphire, when they're playing in tandems, you know they'll protect one another.
That just looks so awkward. You can see the panic in Iceberg's face. Who do I shoot first? And well, she does a lot of damage to both the people jumping down. Ultimately, Ginny will confirm that final kill, which will give her the Seekers as well. And Fullsense, they were really good at rebounding on that round with their positioning, because Alaka, she got 2 huge openers, but Margot able to not only find that first kill onto Alaka, but also catch a second one on the rotation and regroup with the rest of her team to pinch down Best. Very nice micro coming out towards this particular mid-round for the side of Fullsense. Now though, it's 9-7 RRQ. Their last half by here, they really want to try to save for that next round. Fullsense, they have to come back here.
Oh, here comes the Yumi. Here both of also, but Margot, paranoid, perfect. Muffin there
Spike
too,
down A.
and the rubble will tumble down on the corpses of RRQ instead. Navsky, the only one still standing, and the aggression for Fullsense, the active map control. That's one thing they can rely on. Zap, the past few rounds, it's just a statement for both teams. If RRQ can do it, Fullsense can do it also, and vice versa. The close game we expected from this matchup, we're getting it so far.
Yeah, first map was overtime. Second map seems at this rate it's likely that it'll go to overtime. Unless, of course, Fullsense can make that full sweep and end at like 13-10 or something, which they have done in the past. Now, like you mentioned, just Navsky alone in a 1v4. I think already been spotted out by Polly as well. So tries to take the 1v1 here. Navsky has to try and isolate this fight. Does quite a bit of damage, in fact, through the smoke. Okay.
Yeah,
Navsky.
okay. Just doesn't want to fight it, actually. It's only a classic, but Fullsense, safety is key, and we'll provide that. It'll be Baby TZ and Polly. They are one round away now, Zach, from tying things up. We see for Fullsense Sapphire, they're just a lot more comfortable on the defense no matter the map. It's just how they play the protocols, how they communicate, and how they just play as a pair when they can.
Yeah, they're really good at playing off of each other. I think that's like this team's distinguishing landmark. Even back when they're X10 days, they were just so good at playing off each other. Like, of course, individually, Muffin, Baby TZ, even Ginny, all of them do put up the numbers depending on who was playing on what map. But at the end of the day, they're just so good at coordinating together and playing off each other's utility. That's like their hallmark. Compared to, let's say, SMG, whose trademark at this point is just to run and kill everybody. And RRQ, they fall somewhere in the middle. They're somewhere in the middle. So they had that awkward mix of firepower, but not enough to take those really annoying fights that SMG tend to take over the course of these last few opens. And they have been working on their strats, though. You can see that, especially on that last map, right? They've been working on their mental and their strats. On Pearl, they were able to just kind of put down those protocols once that side swap came in to make that comeback really work out. It was 11-3, and they managed to take it to overtime and win. So I'm personally very impressed.
Yo, that's a great point, Zach, because I think that's what has defined RRQ Kaguya's journey throughout this year. The in-betweeners, where do they really fall? The firepower side, the tactical side, of course, any great team will have a mix of both. But Kaguya has had this identity crisis for quite a while already. Couldn't meet some of the expectations, perhaps. So yeah, versus last year, right? The expectations were so immense on them. And now, a bit more down to earth, a bit more humbled, but understanding bit by bit, open by open especially, how this team works. And right now, at the very least, they're in position to contend with Fullsense Sapphire. The buys are ready for both sides. This is gonna be a swing round, if ever, because of the economy. And RRQ, play it quiet so far. Alika, Yumi, I'd love to see if they can actually go for the double burst instead. If they can work in tandem to make the side take happen. Upper taken here, though, by Margot. Boombot gets the intel, and already, Fullsense Sapphire sussing out what RRQ's planning. The lurker from Navsky, though, might be a bit dangerous. I think the door's broken as well. There's some options now for RRQ, if ever.
Fullsense, they still want to try and contest for the site, though. They hear that Trailblazers are being invested here, and that's going to signal the start of the execute. It's going to be the showstopper popped by Oluka to try and find some space here in the corner. It's going to be the Omen tucked away, and she finds the timing. Margot, huge opener.
And look at that, the distraction doesn't work out here for RRQ whatsoever. Fullsense, we're ready, even by Waterfall, where we saw Iceberg teleport from the shadows, and now, in a snap, it's gonna be a 2v1. Navsky fighting back, yes, but she only has 11 HP. Odds are against her, but can she do it? No, it's denied. We are tied up here 9-9.
Very, very nice round coming out of Fullsense there. Of course, they had the intel right off the bat, but despite RRQ cutting the noise, they didn't move a muscle, and just the positioning by Margot, not spooking at the side of that showstopper, being able to work with those seekers to catch Oluka completely off guard. That was the opener of the round, because the showstopper could have done so much damage if it went unchecked, or just created so much more space, and Margot denying that right off the bat. It sets Baby TZ up to take these fights towards CT, and despite Navsky doing whatever she can in a 1v4, it's too much to ask even from Navsky here. So RRQ Kaguya, they didn't invest all of their ultimates. They're still going to have a couple for the next round. Economically, like you mentioned, they are slowly but surely being whittled down.
Yeah, and again, RRQ Kaguya, they're just big proponents of the half buy, half armor situation, and they're still going to have a few creds to work with at the very least. Rifles at the ready, less protection though. And the Seekers now to allow RRQ the intel that they need. This can be Sapphire though, taking his lead away. We started this half 8-4. Now we're 9-9 after such a strong string of rounds from Fullsense Sapphire. Alika watching towards Link. A lockdown there though, the answer now from Baby TZ. It's one thing RRQ Kaguya lacks. They just struggle to contend with the lockdown so far. It's looking to pop very soon. RRQ dislodged here. Besto trying at least to find an angle outside of A. She gets the kill done. Baby TZ on the defuse. Those 3 down. She's sticking it. Someone needs to stop her. And even though RRQ get the kills, the round goes Fullsense's way. They didn't realize. What was going on there, Zach.
Oh my god, that's the most chaotic round I've seen, and it's all won because of Baby TC's 5th lockdown. Huge round of applause for her and for just being able to stick the spike. That's gonna be, if RRQ lose this map and possibly this series, that's the linchpin round. That's where everything changed, and that's when the Fire Nation attacked. But chaos apart on that side. That was incredibly well played by Sapphire. Baby TZ, of course, she has the objective go stick on the spike. But if you look at the spacing from every other member of the squad there, they're just able to cover her, take the damage, and she was the only one left standing. It was a 1v5 or 1v4 by the end of it, and she does her job.
Yeah, well,
amazing.
The 4 elements with the 4 kills, yes, but the avatar didn't show on up. And RRQ, they can't be rattled after that round. They still have the firepower to fight back with. They also go for the blades. A Fullsense Sapphire. They should be grinning after that one. The vibe checks here for Fullsense Sapphire. They're a lot more confident on their rotations.
Here.
And Nargo. Here we have the smoke into play. A Yumi look to be enabled by Bess and her Trailblazer. Smoke's in the way yet again. Margo 10 HP and the blades don't get anything whatsoever. Those were knives, they were basically spoons. Couldn't find any damage done. It's still 5v5 though along the way. High ground taken here by Fullsense. The guy in light needs to play best right now, taking the angle yet again. This time around, Muffin will fall, so at least it's going to be a casualty inflicted here by RRQ. Best with another one, looking to go for the spray down on Margo. Will have her. The Paranoia gets connection. It's trade after trade yet again, but RRQ will come up ahead. That's a deal they would like.
10-10, and I like how quick they were to exert control on the side. Fullsense, of course, they didn't really have any huge retake ults in RRQ. They were aware of that, so they were willing to push the issue and excel in those confrontations that they do best in. Of course, Best being able to get this first opener was huge, and she just got so much time on whatever remained, letting the rest of her team on side kind of clean up. RRQ, I think they were a little bit annoyed by how Baby TZ stole the defuse away, so they were just like, we're gonna play on side. You don't have another lockdown so soon. Not even Baby TZ can do that.
But Zach, look at how many orbs she has right now.
Yeah, she might have it for the next round, but hey, it won't be consecutive rounds unless she aces every time. So at least they can pray for that much, because she's the demon that's haunting them this entire game. Look at her, 22 and 12. She's like neck and neck with Alucard. This is a Raze and a Killjoy competing. Like, I know they're supposed to be dating and stuff according to lore, but still, come on.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
That's actual lore,
Zach. She actually reads the lore. All I know is you shoot each other and someone wins along the way. Timeout though, here for Fullsense Sapphire. Because honestly, for the past 2 rounds, it's been shaky. They struggle on the retake. They just got away with the defuse a while ago. And this isn't sustainable from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, Alucard does at least have that showstopper almost coming in. So RRQ, I think what they've really been struggling are in 2 aspects. Number 1, taking head-to-head fights with a utility, which they've kind of rectified for the most part this map. They do have that awkward scramble along A-long every now and then, but aside from that, it's okay. The second biggest problem is their post plan, because even if they can get the spike down, right, there's no real way that they're able to just hold on to it. Often, Fullsense, they use their utility and ultimates to really push them off the side, and now with that Viper Spit being committed despite this half fight.
Half fight lead, and the dangerous Judge though, a Bucky still, so close quarters are what Fullsense are trying to force here with the Viper Spit. RRQ though, they have other plans so far. They open the doorway, they're spotted though by the flash. Intel provided here, Ginny, does she go for the spray down? Looking for a target, a bit of damage done, but it's not enough to concede that kill. Instead, RRQ, this site is theirs for the taking. Alaka also, as well as a Yumi now working in tandem to try and clear upper. More space being taken here by RRQ. Trying to play a few corners so far. Navsky with contact. Margo, the first to fall. Baby TZ onto the side. Here comes the intel with the Neurotuff as well, but Paulie gets close to taking that judge count. Baby TZ on board with a takedown. It's 3v3 for now. Equalize unsure. Some rifles to be picked up as well, but Bess and Iceberg, they have the corners to play from. Baby TZ though unrelenting. Navsky and Bess are there though, from different angles and different opportunities. Classic RRQ Kaguya. Omnidirectional yet again, no matter where, it is not safe. And 11-10 now it stands.
it got so dicey there towards the end, especially Baby TZ being able to pick up 3 kills and the lockdown again, number 6 online by the way. But I think in particular that neural theft that came out of Napski was super important and really enabling this RRQ post plan to be set up. They had those 2 players towards main playing for the spike, but of course Napski's position was just a power position. She was that last line of defense that would prevent that defuse from coming in, and that's exactly what takes place. Now Sapphire, they forced up that round, they put everything they had, and now in this important round, the one where RRQ have a chance to get to match and series points, they have almost nothing to work with.
And after such a long time, Zach, RRQ Kaguya, they can taste it. They can see the finish line if ever they get this round. They just need to be as careful as can be, though, especially against the likes of Baby TZ. She's been the hero so far of this game, of Fullsense Sapphire all throughout this tournament. Multiple MVP awards. And the Bulldog to provide firepower as well. Her setup looks strong towards the bend. The camera broken, and Aluka contact towards Ginny. Muffin with a trade, and Baby TZ is always ready. A wish now looking to be granted here by Baby TZ. It will fend off RRQ for the time being.
They're gonna quickly get out of there. They want nothing to do with Baby TZ and her nanostorms and her turret and her lockdown and her bulldog at the end of it as well. They're just going to the opposite side as far away as possible, and that might be the best strat because there's only Margot hanging around here. Just spot out these players with a jump pick, but she only has a sheriff in hand. It might be more efficient for her to wait for the rest of the squad to come in instead of trying to make an early aggressive move.
30 seconds left.
She will give up the site to RRQ quickly. Just put down the paranoia to try and get some space here, and we'll be able to walk back onto site, but it's just going to be Iceberg finding that crucial kill.
Yeah, Iceberg close contact, realizes Molly's there thanks to the Seekers, and now RRQ have the numbers in their favor. High ground though for Baby TZ, still a threat, still a demon needed to be exercised, and here we go again! It's Limbo, it's Hell, it's the lockdown, but Iceberg ready now with the Holy Phantom and the RRQ. Given a chance here to get away from her, but lockdown respected. Polly looking to get halfway on the defuse. Does she dare stake it? No. Waiting for the contact and the swing. Best and Iceberg are creeping on in. Running out of bullets. 1 bullet also for Iceberg. It's close. Polly defusing the wall back there. 1 HP. And Iceberg gets it. But it's not enough. Fullsense Sapphire. They get the defuse anyway. And we are tied up. What just happened in that round?
I have one name, Baby TZ. Baby TZ happened that round again. Just being able to get all of these kills, of course, on site, and most importantly, that lockdown. Just putting it down. Sure, she goes down, but she creates all that space for Polly to get that first half of the defuse and then try to play out the 1v2. Polly, of course, huge clutch coming out, but Baby TZ, man, 26 and 14. Just exactly what you want out of your killjoy. She's topping that score chart right now. Absolutely insane.
That wasn't even a split-second victory for Fullsense. It was even less than that. She died as soon as she defused the spike. Literally the same moment. And those 2 rounds that we've seen Fullsense Sapphire get away with the defuse. That's gonna haunt RRQ. If they lose this map, Baby TZ though. You mentioned it. Still a problem. Still such a huge threat. And now RRQ has to contend with the Fullsense Sapphire fully kitted and fully ready. Rubble taken already here by Margot as well as Muffin. Doorway open as well just to psych out the competition, but RRQ, they're looking for a moment. Fullsense refuses to budge. And now crawling. Oh, the timing, Muffin! She wasn't ready, but Margot is. First takedown comes the way of Sapphire. Here comes the showstopper, and enough is enough, Baby TZ. Aluka will change the channel. 4v3, it's up to Ginny. Too many targets though to deal with. Holes now being taken by Margot. Sights here for RRQ. And Margot sprayed down. Finds Iceberg at the very end, but this time the plant goes. It's 3v2. Margin after margin, Zap. Muffin looking to come on in. Tries to open clear. Realizes the box is unsafe. Muffin will get the takedown anyway. 2v2 now on the outside. It's Best and Ayumi falls. The flash is there. Showstopper time as Best is trying to just go for the complete footwork, but not enough to dance away from it. It's Fullsense on match point.
Match point.
2v4. again, just Fullsense, the way they're able to pick apart these advantageous situations that RRQ somehow get on board. They find these 2 opener kills, and it's only Margot and Muffin left on the defuse, but this rare whiff from Aluka, as well as how cautious they were on this retake situation, just a little bit too much to deal with. And once again, for a second, I thought that, I think it was Best left alive. Best was just gonna get away with their life and save the gun, not gonna be hit by anything, and it will be another ninja defuse coming in, but thankfully at least they try to contest it. The only problem is that despite this barrage of utility coming in, there's just still Muffin standing so strong along with Margot.
Margot, sure, but there you go. Ayumi finding Muffin so far. Margot in peril, but a toxic screen to keep her alive. 4v4 for the time being. This is it though. If Fullsense take this, we go into a decider. And RRQ, they can taste that victory. It was so close, but it's Fullsense who is a step ahead so far. They're ready now. On to the side as well. Ginny actually backing on away, giving herself a reposition towards the rope instead. Margot, the smokes are there though. Ayumi looking to get in position with the push. The Cyber Cage will provide the cross. Margot doesn't notice it from the pixel angle. And eventually RRQ clearing towards staircase so far. A smoke yet again. A wraparound here from RRQ, navigating the maze made by Fullsense. And they found their exit points. One more down on the defense. And look who's waiting on the other side. You know her name. You know her aim. It's Baby TC. A threat yet again. Ayumi will stop with a shorty. 3v2, 1 HP left for Ayumi. Close round yet again here. You can feel the pressure as Margot and Ginny separate so far.
Got your train.
Here we go. Got to spot the secrets. We'll get confirmation, but Margot lets it rip, and down goes Best. 4 for Ayumi. She's 1 away from the ace. Maybe a hero here for RRQ. Ginny can be the same if ever, but Ayumi aces it. The A game is brought out, and we go to overtime again.
Another one for
Switching
the books
sides.
here, as Lotus will
Overtime.
also be overtime between both of these teams. Sapphire, they might have started off at a loss, and they might have gotten to match point first, but RRQ, they have proven that they can dig in deep today, and they do the necessary damage. Thankfully, Baby TC only got 1. If Ayumi hadn't gotten that kill, I feel like that round could have gone very differently, but I'm just an average Baby TC stand here. It took an ace from Ayumi to push these guys to overtime, and now they have a chance still at getting that crucial 2-0 that they've been kind of craving. For Sapphire, though, this is a chance to take this to that possible map 3, and they're aware of the pressure. They know what they need to do. They're going to be putting in that timeout here to try and figure out what exactly they want to do, because so far, at least on defense, it's been heroics that have been getting them these rounds rather than consistency. A ninja defuse, a Baby TZ moment, another Baby TZ moment. They got to be a little bit more methodical about it.
Look, Zach, the past 4 rounds have been absolutely heart-stopping. I need a breather. That's what this timeout is really for. But how does this always lead to this scenario? I think I can speak for everyone that this is what we've wanted ever since between RRQ Kaguya and Fullsense Sapphire. These teams have been rivals ever since the dawn of the year, and even more so ever since that elite tournament. RRQ Kaguya has had Fullsense Sapphire on their minds. Fullsense Sapphire, that confidence, yes, to keep putting Kaguya in their place. We go to OT though, we go for another, and what can we expect from this one? What do you think can provide the victory for either team?
Baby TZ or Baby TZ for Fullsense. I know it's a cop-out answer, but look at her. She's already 27 and 16. I want to see her at least get that 30 bomb along with the win to see a map 3 here, which I think is a very likely possibility because we are talking about Baby TZ. But looking at both of these teams so far, now it's going to be RRQ back on the defensive side, not putting in that operator for Ayumi, instead opting to play for a little bit more of an aggressive comp, and from Fullsense, this is something that we haven't quite seen from them this B take so far, and that doesn't seem to be the call.
Neither side refusing to lose. And Muffin here. The pain shells now love. We've seen the value so far from Alakado, and she does not disappoint on the delivery. Another 3-pointer right now. Sign her up to the NBA by this point. Spikes planted. Muffin onto the corner. Nabsky though. The gun is seen. And Nabsky is spotted. 4v4 for the time being. Here's the clear and dash on it. Courtesy of the UV Best Malika on the board, and RRQ. It's just so methodical. They put themselves on match point yet again.
Get the defuse, and RRQ one away from eliminating Sapphire in this tournament, one away from finding the revenge that they've been craving since that last final
Switching
of Elite.
sides.
So close
Match
to
point.
redemption here, and facing SMG in that grand final. They can almost taste it, Dax. One round is all that stands between them and finding their hopes for at least this open coming through. And looking at the scoreboard here, of course, all of Kaguya, they've been popping off, but this map, it has been Aluka again and again to be able to find so much impact in her openings. With that side swap coming over to attack, her and Ayumi, they've been looking great over that last half. All they have to do is find that little bit extra push to do this and take this round.
And the flashbacks are here, and RRQ on the crusade, perhaps, to just capitalize on a moment versus Sapphire. Let's also not count out Beth. She's been incredible here so far, finding so many impactful kills. But as soon as RRQ make that noise, they cut it. Trying to psych out Fullsense Sapphire. Only to play a bit of mind games. Snakebite thrown just to stall for time, and the silence deafening so far as RRQ are looking for their moments.
Now, Trailblazer gonna be put in. They still want to push the issue on this particular B side. However, Baby TZ still gonna be anchoring down towards that C, ready for the quick rotation if it does happen, and that seems to be the call. And now RRQ, to cement their victory, they're gonna have to deal with their worst nightmare, who is still on the C side. Baby TZ and her turret.
Turrets, the nano swarm, and the warning is there. Keep off my sight, Baby TZ looks to say. Pushes through the smoke, but that's big! And that's exactly what RRQ has been looking for all throughout the map. Baby TZ, the first to fall. RRQ gets the plants.
Now, 4v5. Fullsense, they still have a chance at this, at making this retake work out. They have most of their utility available, but RRQ, they are being cautious. They have people on site to prevent a ninja, and they have people on the other side to just spray through here. Spike plants
Holding
are
close.
one and Muffin.
Muffin's there, Muffin gets a second! And a double layer cake perhaps. Marco's on board as well. But here comes Snapsky in position, Beth as well. Seeker's out, but Polly! She's ready, and she has the angle. We go again. Not just once, but twice. Overtime yet again as Fullsense survives.
They get the defuse, and they powered through a huge round coming out of Muffin, being able to find those 2 kills to open up, and even
Switching
though she
sides.
wasn't able to get the defuse, right?
Overtime.
She was her trying to stick that spike really baited out the remaining presence of RRQ towards the main and set them up for success during the course of the rest of the round. Bess unfortunately pulled out the Seekers at the worst time. Polly was just pushing on her position, and she was able to find that final kill. 13-13 now. Aluka once again investing in that Odin. I don't like that gun, Dax. I feel like I should mention that. It's very annoying.
It is, and it's very oppressive when you're trying to cross somewhere so narrow. A bullet storm, perhaps awaiting yet again. Ayumi, first to find a bit of intel, spots the turret, breaks it. And it's been par for the course for RRQ. They send one out towards B, trying to keep Fullsense guessing and force them to commit onto the site instead, where it's either utility or a setup awaiting.
It's just quiet so far. Neither team, they realize that these quick pushes, they don't quite do anybody a favor here. So they're just hoping for a sign from the other to kind of react on. That's the kind of gameplay we're getting down to here. Baby TZ putting out the alarm bot. I think it was heard, so that's going to trigger the Trailblazer out of the defender side here. And FS, they're just going to be waiting in place. I think that did spot out only Polly. Didn't see anybody else. And Polly likes to be that lurk player so often. So RRQ, they aren't going to be reacting too much yet. In fact, they're going to be refocusing towards this B side instead.
RRQ waiting now for the audio cue, and yet again, one point they played from so far has been that back of sight, an iceberg. Best there prepared for it. Beautiful paranoia though. Counter paranoia is the answer, but Polly has the angle. Best with the trade. Napty's on board, and here we go yet again. The RRQ standard is set, and it's Ginny trying to fight on back, but he cannot get more than one. Still, history repeats, and you can see for RRQ, they denied the take so efficiently.
Match point.
Yeah, after this overtime came into play, they have been really, really good at fighting for these sites because they realize that Sapphire, with the amount of utility that they have in their back pocket, they just can't let them set up for a post plant. Because of course, Baby TZ is gonna be there with the nano swerves. You have the snake bites out of Polly, whatever other pieces of utility that they might come have, such as I believe we did see a kill coming out already with the Trailblazer, but in particular, Muffin's paint chills. If she has them back again, it could be a huge problem. So they just don't want to let Sapphire get that spike down at all. And now again, it's just one round away that RRQ need to really figure out. The C side, it's been working out for them so far, but now we're going to see a little bit more of a default heavy play come out of this team.
Yeah, Tripwire's there, and Nabsky, she needs to be very careful here by Rubble. The double setup already in position. And just this minute, probably gonna feel like an eternity for both these teams. As soon as RRQ provides that noise, Fullsense will have to react in kind. The Odin trying to just get a bit of distraction. Flashback's there too, looking to allure the opposition at least. Peek that angle, baby TC. Still steadfast though along the way. Jinny's there, ready to catch the cross. And RRQ, they're gonna go yet again. The toughest road to try and deal with. They want to catch out Baby TC first and foremost. Jinny though, breaking Trailblazer. The Paranoia gonna be into play. And Jinny will be the first victim. Ayumi dashing forward, cascading towards Waterfall. Baby TC's gone as well. It's 5v3. There's the flash. They don't check the corner. And Polly! There's the angle, but Alaka will make the trade work. It's 4v2 and RRQ in prime position. Something they've been waiting for so long already. Muffin fighting on back to blast back off, but Alaka's there again. RRQ, is this gonna be it? 3v1. What else can Muffin do now? She's trying to move towards Waterfall, but Alaka waits. The Odin at the ready, and Iceberg gets the trade. It's been almost a year, but the revenge finally happens. RRQ Kaguya back to where they belong and back into a grand final slot.
It's been such a difficult year for them so far, but RRQ, this is the resilience that we're used to seeing out of them. This is the squad that we've been watching for the past 2 years, and they're back with a bang. They take the victory, the revenge against Fullsense Sapphire 2-0, and this entire year, it's very fitting because Sapphire, they've been winning 2-0 themselves. So RRQ, despite the overtimes, despite the pressure, to be able to push through to that grand final, very, very impressive coming out of them. In particular, I loved how they were adapting onto Lotus towards those last overtime rounds because they did not give Fullsense any kind of chance to jump back into it for those last couple of rounds at all.
I just have to say, you heard it in the interview in the post-game versus Rakuten X. This was the matchup they were waiting for. Their eyes were set, and finally, they can get not just one, but 2 overtime wins. A 2-0 versus a squad that has done so again and again against them this year. And truth be told, this is the expectations everyone has had for RRQ Kaguya to face off against Team SMG, to face off against Eneri, and I can't wait for tomorrow. Sapphire will fall, yes, but Kaguya will stand, and it's time for us to call it a day. The panel will break down the history that has been made here.
And now finally the circle is complete. As Quack said just now during the game, it's like watching an anime battle between the two rivals, and that's exactly what we were served, honestly. When we came into that game, there were a lot of expectations coming into the two maps. We talked about the control that comes through from FSS, as well as what we can expect from them, but RRQ just broke that, just breaking the limits after such a long day.
It's so crazy, Tash. Oh my god, this game. I mean, first of all, Fullsense almost bringing it back, but then RRQ in that final round, it's just like, I mean, I said anime, but it's also like Star Wars, and Baby TC was like, it's over, Ayumi, I have the high ground, and Ayumi's like, you underestimate my power, and then she gets an ace! She gets an ace, Tash! And that's what we have going into overtime, and then, oh my god.
Okay, so when we look at the game just now, when we talk about control, I think for our Fullsense Sapphire, they're literally, I mean, I don't want to make them sound very readable, but they are. It's going to be 2 on one side, 2 on A, 2 on C, and then the util full is going to be on B. And I think that is the slight edge that RRQ had eventually on that overtime, understanding what to expect from Fullsense Sapphire. Now for RRQ, I think what's the biggest, takeaway from them is that knowing that they can't fully take the site early, knowing that's all that util up there, what do? They bait out the util. They go for these defaults, try to get those picks. And most importantly, they waste a lot of time on one side. Maybe they want to go to C, suddenly they realize, okay, I don't think we're going to get in there. Suddenly pivot into B and quickly take it. The explosive play catches FSS off guard. And by that time, FSS has no more utility for that post plant.
Yeah, but that said, there were some rounds. I mean, looking at some of the statistics, right, that Fullsense actually had some pretty good plays. Again, there's just so much history between the two teams right now, but the story, you know, we can't make this stuff up.
No.
It's just right there in the books for RRQ to take this home because, I mean, they've been trying their hardest, you know, ever since losing to Fullsense back when they were X10 last year. They struggled a little bit, but right here, today, whether or not, you know, they've had some long games against Orangutan X or whatever else Fullsense had to go through, right now in this very moment, this combination of Alika, Napski, Best coming up as well on the Sky, they popped off. They got so many kills, and with the way that they kind of position themselves on sites, they managed to come out huge. I mean, Fullsense Sapphire, great plays. Some of the reads, some of the approaches that they had, like, first of all, yes, RQ off of timeouts, they recover incredibly well, but apart from that, there was one or two rounds where it was kind of funny. They made their way onto a site, but then they weren't quite able to hold it, and then Baby TZ snuck a ninja defuse. It's
happened twice.
This game, Tash.
I mean, with the ninja from Baby TZ and also the ninja from Polly. And let's not talk about, you know, as Dax quotes, Baby TZ is the demon that needs to be exercised by RRQ. And that's exactly it, right? That's the winning moment for them, finding Baby TZ early. So
they brought the holy water.
Exactly. They bought the holy water. They bought the ultimates. They bought the, you know, the utility to take her out of the way. And suddenly, without Baby TZ as that huge block in the way, they were able to win the round. And I have to say, like, this, you can definitely tell in how exactly RRQ plays. They were hungry for this. Imagine for one whole year, your whole eyes and your whole expectation to going to Berlin just taken away in that one swift moment. This is what they were waiting for. Even Ducky said it. This was the match they had their eyes on, not the first match earlier against OGX. And for now, we're going to be seeing RRQ meeting up the final boss, SMG, tomorrow in a best of 5.
Oh my god, and that's another one, right? I mean, there's just so much history, these three teams, and then now you're gonna have the full RRQ roster up against, you know, SMG. You've got Kohibi. Yeah, we could talk about, you know, their previous team, like Renatus White from like the first year and everything, but now like this new form, you've got Alexi in there as well, Shirazi, Kamiyu, and then of course a Neri. Ex-teammates playing against each other one more time. You can't make this up. This is just so good, Tash.
It really
we're
is.
being treated.
We're really being treated. And Neri wasn't able to play in Open 1, made a bang in Open 2, showing her teammates that she, despite not being able to catch, you know, the bus for Open 1, makes a bang in her return. And now, of course, RRQ wants to show her, like, hey, you missed the bus, and this is what you missed on that ride. This is what we're going to be expecting tomorrow. And again, you said there's so much history, and it just shows that these girls, because they're so close, they're going to be moving around between each team. And the understanding that comes from them about being past teammates can be translated in how they react, how they read, exactly from what we saw in Pearl earlier, all the way till now. And I am so excited for it. Today has been a very long day, and I don't think we're going to be having interview, honestly, because RRQ, long day, 2 matches in a row, all of them OTs, and now they have to go up against the final boss. If anything, let's hope we get to talk to them tomorrow. Anyways,
Hopefully.
Yep, hopefully. Anyways, Tash Bunny here alongside Quack. We also had a long day on desk, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. But which desk is the question? Good night, everyone.
One enemy remaining.